and see what a real a real safe looks like. But wait, there's more. Now through the end of the month, save hundreds of dollars on all Browning, Fort Knox safes and vault doors. Drop by one of our locations or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Friday, September 5th. A vigil was held Thursday night for victims of the shooting at Appalachian High School 1 year ago. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed, 9 others were injured. The 14-year-old alleged shooter and his father were both arrested. The father's trial, originally scheduled for next week, was reset for February of next year, earlier this week. Cobb Fire officials are investigating what caused a garbage truck to lose control and crash into the front of a Smyrna home, causing the home to catch fire. 2 people in the home were unharmed. One of the workers on the garbage truck was hospitalized. Neighbors said the fire spread unusually fast. And Georgia Tech received the largest donation in the school's history. Alumnus John Durstein gave $100 million to the George Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering. The Woodruff School has one of the largest and most influential mechanical and nuclear engineering programs in the country, with more than 3,000 students and 110 faculty members. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s. We'll have some scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Look at all that Donald Trump's accomplished in 6 months. Now imagine going the other way. Anti-American, everything that common sense tells you, going against all that. That's what we would have had if Kamala Harris would have been elected president. We avoided it. We dodged that bullet. And it really does kind of open your eyes when you see what's happening over in the UK. Comedian Graham Linehan was arrested. He was in the United States doing shows. He's a comedian. He's Irish. And he flies back into Heathrow. He's arrested. And what did they arrest him for? Posting 3 things critical of the trans movement. And they arrested him for it. So his freedom of speech was taken away.
I feel like I've done a little bit of work on this because I did watch his episode of Joe Rogan. This would be, and the way to put it for the audience, imagine if Larry David was arrested for the comedy that he was doing. Larry David, who was your co-creator of Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, he has just his rundown of, wow, okay, this guy helped dictate what the 90s and what the aughts were from a comedic perspective. That's Graham Linehan. That's exactly what he did. That's how popular he is when it comes to comedy writing in the UK. As much as you can say he's a comedic writer. It's what he is. But one of the things he's done is he's been very invested in telling you the dangers of the trans movement, what it does to kids, what the results been, what the medication does. And so after his arrest, he showed up because he's having to go and make the public appearance. He's got on a sandwich board that says there's no such thing as a transgender child.
And then on the back, when he spins it around, it then comes, he's like just fight it. It says, keep men out of women's sports. This is the guy in the UK who is saying the exact same things we are, who's pointing it out on social media. And he had 5 officers there to arrest him for it in the UK. When he came home. It's unreal to think about, for me anyway, as a guy that's never been afraid to say anything necessarily, that you, as far as if you're a citizen in the UK, that not only can you not say anything, if you post something, they'll come after you and arrest you, or if you pray silently in front of an abortion clinic, they will come and arrest you. All documented cases, all actual cases of people being arrested for doing nothing more than sharing their beliefs in public.
And what the UK fell into was that this speech is mean. All right, like we have protections for hate speech. As much as people want to get all upset about, I can't believe people can say that. Well, we have freedom of speech, including hate speech. It's all protected. About the only speech that isn't protected is when you're making threats. That's when, okay, the authorities will show up at your home. Keep making bomb threats, you keep saying you're going to kill different officials. Oh, yeah, they're going to show up at your house. But you can say whatever you want to outside of that all day long, and you should be able to.
And the crazy thing is you can say that too, but there is somebody that's going to take notice. You physically have the right to say it.
But we were teetering where this mentality of saying what is obviously true, we actually had during the Biden years, this moment of, well, how do we get people to stop doing this? Well, how do we punish people for doing this? And the UK went down this road. We were right on that edge.
Yep.
And part of the reason why is the Second Amendment so important? Because it helps take care of the First Amendment. These two are in conjunction with one another. You know why you can't get me to stop saying things? We got guns.
And you can't force me.
And you can't force me.
And if I have to, I'm willing to defend whatever I want whatever I need to.
Because when the government gets too big, gets too encroaches too much on freedom, people can do something about it. In fact, we're a treasonous bunch of bastards.
Yes, we are.
And we don't have a problem talking about it.
Our country was founded on treason.
Treason, yes.
And it's funny to see the libs that defend this. And especially when they want to talk about, they want to bring guns into the conversation, they always go back. What are you going to do? Overthrow the government?
No, I'm just going to keep you from showing up to my house.
But if it goes far enough, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen or what needs to happen.
But there's always a threat there.
But there's always, is exactly right. Could it happen? Yes, because it's already happened once.
There's always the threat. And so this is the problem that you now have in the UK and throughout all of Europe. This was supposed to be the other place where Western civilization flourished and depended on democracy. And democracy is built on free speech. Graham Linehan is exactly the epitome of what is wrong with that area of the world right now.
They're arresting
posts.
The crazy thing is with all of the immigration and people are fighting back, they're arresting people for flying the flag of England, for flying a flag that they're saying that the government says its own flag is racist. So anybody that flies it, they're having somebody knock on the door. And now you're seeing people just go around and spray paint the flag on the ground just to show their disdain for what's happening in their own country. And I understand why. I get it. Because I saw it during COVID. Los saw it during COVID. You saw it during COVID. They couldn't wait to tell you what you could and couldn't do. They couldn't wait to tell you where you could and couldn't go. Yet if you watched those same people in charge, they didn't follow those same rules. None of them did. All the ones that pushed hardest for the most restrictions are the ones that broke those same restrictions. Think about AOC flying down to Florida. Think about Gretchen Whitmer's husband going out on his boat. And was it Nancy Pelosi going to get her hair done? All of those things. Those were the people that wanted the restrictions the most, Los. And yet they didn't want you to have that same freedom.
One of the other reasons I really like seeing what Graham Linehan has done is because he doesn't back off at all.
I mean, he's in front of the courthouse with a sandwich board.
So there is and this is a video that he has from...
Dude, that takes stones.
Yeah, from earlier in September. It's like September 1st. And it is a very butch man wearing women's clothes. And all he writes is he went ahead and quote tweeted it. He said, yeah, sure, let him into women's spaces. What could go wrong?
Nothing at all.
And when you hear him, when he was on with Joe Rogan, he's extremely measured. But you can see when you understand the atmosphere of what's going on in the UK, he's trying to sound the alarm. Like, this is an area... Trans is basically a vessel for censorship. That's all it is. And if it's not that, then it's just as you described. It's COVID. Like, what is the vessel for censorship? All of it is censorship. But it's a matter of, okay, well, people won't. All right, we tried the COVID thing. Okay, people won't go for that. All right, let's try trans. Because if we have people that don't say anything about this and we can tell them they can't say anything, then they'll accept not being able to say things. That's what he's pointing out. This is just what the current censorship vehicle is. That's all. It'll be something else down the road, but this is what it is. Even in this country, they tried it as illegals. You can't say that about illegals. They're just here to help you. They're just here to paint your house, pick your fruit and your vegetables. And we ran roughshod right over that. And they tested it, and it never worked. So this is the next one. This is all it ever is. It's all just about censorship. They don't want you being able to have this speech. Hillary Clinton told you as flat out. She's like, we need to have more control over these people.
She said it. It's not that long ago when she said this. She was like, we want to lock down things like Twitter.
The CEO of NPR.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right.
You know, the truth sometimes get in the way of consensus.
That's exactly right. And I've always wondered why, like, leftists and Islamists work together so well. It's because they have that same common enemy. And it is you and I. It is free speech. It is freedom. They work together because they want to take that away from you. Those are strange bedfellows. The Islamists and those trans activists, those leftist activists, because they don't agree on anything except they want you to shut up.
What have we been told to tell you that trans women are violent? Well, you can't say that, Los. That's just mean. Kids are dead. You can't say that. Here's Graham from September 1st. There's a post, support trans rights or I'll effing kill you. He takes that post and he points out, he just says, naturally, they meant it. They're just violent, period, men, period.
Yeah, what did he say
violent
was
men.
wrong?
They're just crazy violent men. They're dressed up as women. They're so crazy.
Yeah. Mental illness is real.
That's what it is.
And it's on display.
But you're not allowed to say that. That's the new censorship. If you accept it, that we can't say what reality is, then they can start giving you your media,
right, here's your list
leaders.
Of things that
here's the approved things you can say. I thought it was really indicative of where the Democrats are. When they had the memo that went out and we read through it and we had a lot of fun with it, the phrases and words you weren't allowed to say.
Birthing person, chest feeder.
And it was because it signaled to the audience that you're crazy. Microaggression.
Yeah, all this silly nonsense.
All of these phrases are like, do not say this. People will immediately turn you off. All right, they're trying to censor their own language. You don't think they want to censor yours?
Absolutely they do.
Absolutely.
They
100%.
don't want to let go of those words.
No, and so if you say trans women are just violent men, certainly can't say that around the water cooler. If I walked out in the hallway, I would have people in management in sales going like, oh my God, you're not allowed to say that. Why not? It's true.
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact that it's true.
And so I appreciate Grand Lynham for looking at the rest of the UK government and going like, what am I saying that's false?
Dude, it's happening in every country in Europe. Every one of these countries are cracking down on freedom of speech. In the place that human rights were born, in Europe, when we thought we had a common ground between Europe, and I've said this a bunch of times, I don't think we have much in common with Europe anymore. The Europeans have basically rolled over and said, yeah, we'll just let you run roughshod over us.
Have at my belly.
Yeah, whatever you want, take it.
I'm just that dog.
Whatever you want, take it. And I'm not willing to do that. And I think the American people are so fed up that when they see that here, they recognize the fact that, or when they see it there, they recognize the fact that it could easily happen here. And that's what they've been conditioned to think and believe and be taught what to say, and what not to say on the mainstream media news at night, every night.
I don't mean to leave this right on Trump's doorstep, but I think it's important. He's been a nationalist for so long that the country has now turned towards nationalism. That has not been what the case is in Europe. You haven't had a Donald Trump-style leader there for a long time.
Which is why they asked for him.
This is why these people don't know how to fight. They don't know how to do this anymore. They don't know how to take pride in their own country and say, Ireland is for the Irish. Because when you say that, oh my God, that's racist. You can't possibly say that.
Yeah. But if you said, I don't know, Palestine is for the Palestinians, if you were to say that, how many people would read?
He gets it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, good for you.
But isn't it amazing how dependent on what country, what area, what geography you choose?
So oppressor, oppressee is the way they look at it.
What's allowed and what's not?
Yes. And they'll allow that right up into the point where when you have, and this is another crazy part's going on in Britain, and they will not talk about it on a regular basis, but the numbers are what they are. Rapes are through the roof.
Especially of young girls.
And why is this? Because Muslim men that are coming in from these countries don't recognize age or the fact that this is a crime. It's cultural.
Sharia law allows for it.
Yes. In fact, endorses it. Says it to do it to your enemies.
That's right. Take them as sex slaves.
Yes.
And humiliate them and kill them if necessary.
So what happens when your culture says this is completely fine and yet you're trying to assimilate these people into another one? They don't assimilate. They just get all rapey.
I don't have the politician's name from the UK, but I believe it was somewhere in London, somewhere. And he basically said, yes, we know that these Pakistan rape gangs are a real thing.
Yes, they are.
but we're not willing to say it out loud. We're not willing to denounce it because it will create cultural upheaval. That was his answer. He's not going to say it. He's going to allow these little girls to be taken advantage of because he's afraid of cultural upheaval.
So instead, you need the J.K. Rowlings and the Grand Lynhams of the world
to save us from ourselves.
To speak to these people and have them just at least remind them about what they have had in their past and that you can have this if you want, but it's going to start by getting rid of these people. There's nothing wrong with the fact that some people cannot culturally assimilate to your culture.
Or just genuinely choose not to.
And then they can't be part of your culture.
That's right.
That's all.
You shouldn't have to be forced to.
And this isn't about, this isn't 1930s, 1940s Germany where it's like, well, let's exterminate them. It's, no, you got to go back home.
You just got to go home.
You just got to go home.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
It's not working.
Yeah.
You got to go home.
Yeah. That's the, and it's funny because this goes right along the same lines with the Islamists and those crazy leftists like this that don't care about freedom of speech. It's basically, we're at war with Western civilization. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. That is what is happening right now across Europe and would be happening. It's kind of happening in the United States. We've been able to fend it off a little bit with the election of Donald Trump, but don't think they're going to give up. As we started this conversation with, yes, we avoided the bullet, but they are not going to give up. This is going to be a continual thing. And the messy part is going to be, Los, once they accomplish their goal of censoring everybody and everything has changed, America's gone, the Europe doesn't exist the way it used to, then these people, the leftists and then the Islamists, are going to be at each other's throats. They're going to be killing each other. That's what it'll eventually evolve into.
I give you all homework. This is your own fight club. Some point today, just in passing, just go, have you noticed how violent trans women are? There are some violent men. And that's it. And just see what happens.
You just drop the bomb, walk off.
Have you noticed how violent they are?
I think at least a lot of people are going to go, yeah, I have. I see it every day. I've seen it over and over and over again, seemingly. But you will get a look. There's no doubt about it. Tug and Los until 10. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we continue, CNN got showed up in that vax debate. They want you to believe it's you. It's you. You're the reason that we're seeing a resurgence of measles. Interesting discussion from CNN that you will get a kick out of next.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, September 5th. The NFL is back. The world champion Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys last night 24-20 despite a 1.5-hour rain and lightning delay on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers will kick off from Brazil. That game will kick off at 8 o'clock. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are back in action and back at home as they host the Seattle Mariners in a weekend series. It'll be Chris Sale making the start tonight for the Braves. He'll be opposed by Logan Gilbert. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Yesterday was fortunate enough to go with Chuck and the team from Central Heating and Air Conditioning and present a big check to Skyland Trail. Skyland Trail is a nationally recognized nonprofit mental health treatment organization serving adults ages 18 and older with primary psychiatric diagnosis, residential service, day treatment, outpatient treatment programs. They help people get better. They help them grow, recover, and reclaim their lives. It was an extraordinary day and very eye-opening that type of place exists in Atlanta, and we presented them with a $10,000 check because many times the insurance runs out for people that are in treatment, and they have to make up the difference. They don't want to just turn people away when they're already involved in the treatment at Skyland Trail. It was an incredible day, and an incredible opportunity to give back to the community. And that's what Chuck did with your help through the Christmas in July program that we ran here on Extra 106.3 and across the hall at our sister station, The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. An extraordinary day. Just know that Chuck and his team are a local organization, are a local company. There are a lot of companies out there that claim to be local, been bought out by private equity, and it's not what it's presented as. Chuck and his team Chuck's in the office every day. When you call Central Heating and Air Conditioning, you will speak with someone. They don't send you through some crazy automation. If there's one thing I love about calling Central Heating and Air Conditioning, I know I'm actually going to, as soon as someone picks up, I'm talking to a human being, a person, not AI like at my dentist, not automation like at my doctor's office. They are a local company, and they're serving you here locally. Me too. Los, we've been clients and customers for a long time of Central Heating and Air Conditioning. If you want to give back, you can help. You can do that with Skyland Trail through Central Heating and Air Conditioning too. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com is the website.
More than intelligent, it's thoughtful. Not just spacious, it's sensuous. And along with the sure-footed all-wheel drive, the GLC SUV is now available as an efficient, effusive, and effective plug-in hybrid. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 350e 4MATIC SUV. Just $429 per month for 24 months with $54.73 due at signing. Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's fall sales event, now through September 30th. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through September 30th, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets kick off the 2025 season back on the flats Saturday, September 6th versus Gardner-Webb at 3:30 p.m. presented by Emory.
Into the end zone! Touchdown, Jackets!
Enjoy the free pregame concert and festivities starting 4 hours before kickoff and a hell of a block party driven by Hyundai in the heart of Midtown Atlanta on North Avenue. Tickets start at just $33. Get your game tickets and more information at ramblinrack.com. Sting 'em.
Veterans across Braves country are returning to our communities and need a trusted resource to navigate life beyond military service. The Warrior Alliance is expanding our impact and needs your support to change thousands of lives for the better. This is Kelly Kroll, and I'm inviting you to join us for an exciting benefit dinner, followed by an Atlanta Braves private event on Friday, September 12th to support veterans and their families. Special guests include powerful veteran testimonies and five-time All-Star Andrew Jones. Tickets are on sale now at thewarrioralliance.org.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Summer is here, and it's time to enjoy your outdoor oasis as a family. Don't know where to begin? At Stovall & Company, we have everything you need to make your landscaping dreams come true. From premium mulch and topsoil to a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, and annuals, Stovall has it all. Check us out at stovallinc.com.
A government watchdog said Illinois' map represents a nearly perfect model for everything that can go wrong with redistricting.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10. Happy Friday to you. So glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 is the number at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. So there has been an uptick in measles cases. That has been reported widely, but I found this interesting, this conversation that I heard over on CNN. It was CNN's host that was basically interviewing and talking to GOP Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. And they were talking about the uptick. But they want you to believe that it's you and me, just regular, everyday Americans. We're the reason for this uptick in measles cases. Mark Wayne Mullen's, he's not having it.
More kids have died of measles in this country this year than, in decades.
Well, if you want to get into that, we can talk about the open the southern border and what caused that. Because you had an inflation over 20 million people that came over illegally underneath the Biden administration that wasn't vaccinated. We're not talking about measles outbreaks from kids that were born and raised here inside the United States. We're talking about ones that were brought over here illegally. And you can make that connection. No one can argue that.
Okay. Well, sir, I think we actually are.
Just exasperated because he's not going along with what it is. Casey Hunt was the CNN host.
Oh, I mean, let's face it, Tug. That during that time period when the border was wide open, one of the things we ever were to point out was in a country where you had the Biden administration demanding that every single person take a experimental government shot.
Right.
They didn't do anything at the border.
No, wide open.
Nobody. One bit.
They didn't ask where they were from. They didn't ask if they were criminals. They didn't ask if they had disease. They didn't ask anything. They just said, "Come on in. We need a voting base, and you look like you could fit the bill."
And so, by the way, like outside of your cousin, Mark Wayne sounds like the most fun name.
Yeah, right. He sounds awesome, and he is.
Like that dude belongs in North Georgia. It's like Mark Wayne Mullins.
That's right. I think he's from Oklahoma, but he'd fit right in.
Oh yeah, I mean, like he sounds like he should be playing a honky tonk on Friday.
That's right.
Mark Wayne Mullins. It's perfect.
Hey, Los, I don't know what y'all got going on this evening. We're going to go see Mark Wayne Mullins over there at the bar.
Oh, sweet. Let's go see Mark Wayne Mullins.
He's playing good old days. It's going to be a great time. Come on, let's go have some cold beers.
But that is the ridiculous nature of what he's pointing out, and I'm 100% right on board with him. You can't tell me about, oh, hey, here's where these people are taking away from public health, when for the better part of 4 years you ignored. All you looked at it is every one of them is a potential voter.
Right.
And you never once checked out any of them.
Yeah, and then you put them all in shelters, and most people, at least from what I've gathered, most people are seeing the uptick that started with all the measles, with the illegal immigrants, all in Chicago. That's kind of where the I guess the apex of it all started. And yesterday, you even had Senator Warnock trying to blame RFK for the breakout. Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah, and as it was pointed out, he's like, I've been in office for 7 months. This started a year ago.
Yeah, dude. But it's so on par for what the Democrats do. They're like, well, it couldn't be our fault. There's nothing we did.
Not at all.
It's just you Americans who don't want to take these vaccines anymore. Y'all are the problem. Y'all are the reason that we're seeing this uptick. No, it's because you kicked the door wide open and just let anybody in. And crime has gone up. Measles cases have gone up. Working wages have gone down. Housing is more scarce. Dude, everything that they did caused a problem for the United States of America. And RFK, in 7 months, is trying to get it straightened out. Donald Trump, in 7 months, is trying to get it straightened out. And these clowns continue to push back. They grandstand on TV. Yesterday, they looked more foolish than I've ever seen them look. I've seen them look pretty foolish. Covering the way we have in this show in the last 4 years, dude, yesterday was a standout day for the Democrats. They get the gold star of stupid.
Well, it was in our face. And I guess I was expecting a little something differently. I was expecting for it to be a little bit more cordial. And when you saw them on the attack when it came to going at RFK Jr., and then to see other people too. I mean, like they exist on the Republican side as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm getting a whole bunch of money. This is what I'm going to go and do. I'm on, a full attack. So much of it is Big Pharma versus everybody else, and that's what I took away from it.
Yeah.
But again, going back to Mark Wayne Mullins, that was a scenario where he's on a network and they've created a narrative, and he has to spend a good amount of time having to rewrite the narrative, because the narrative was, well, The only reason this has happened is because Republicans are in charge.
That's right. That's definitely it. In the 7 months that Donald Trump and his administration has been in office, they've ruined it already. And, that 4 years where we didn't have an actual president, everything was just hunky-dory there because everybody was taking their vaccines the way they were supposed to, or they were forced to. Or, you know what I mean? Everything. And So everything went south in 7 months. I don't know. Did you see the video? I know we're tight on time. Did you see the video of the lady that was going to get COVID shots just to rub it in RFK's face that she could get the shot if she wanted to?
It was so strange to hear her bragging about something that, as you had it right yesterday, RFK Jr. was pointing out the detriment of multiple shots.
Yeah. Dude, it makes no sense. These people, they cut their nose off to spite their face. They look foolish in front of the American people, and I hope they continue because that will mean that the United States will be in better hands. Not great hands. We got plenty of Republicans that suck too, but in better hands than if we don't have them on display every night. Let the American people see what these fools and these clowns are doing. RFK showed us how the FDA vaccine process truly works. Let's get into that discussion after the break and the Fox News update on Extra 106.3.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Evan Ward of Atlas Retirement doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Evan will develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Evan Ward at Atlas Retirement to schedule your personal portfolio x-ray today. Call 678-252-5224. That's 678-252-5224. Or online at atlasretirement.net.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's Los here to tell you about a new, stress-free, and completely transparent way to purchase your next pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. It's with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, traditionally, I've been a payment buyer. How do you work with that type of buyer?
I have people that come in all the time and they want to spend $20,000. Okay, if their payments are $400 on $20,000, they don't realize without the doc fees, without all this other stuff, we can put them in a 22 or 23 model car and we can spend a little bit more money and have the same payment. So if you're a payment buyer, don't come in here just saying, I want to spend $20,000, because we can sit there and help you and we can put you in a newer car with lesser miles at a payment you need.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
Bringing back an old name. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This is what President Trump plans to do by executive order today, rebranding the Department of Defense to what it used to be called.
The president will change the name to Department of War to project a tough image for America's military. The name cannot be formally changed without legislation, which the administration will request from Congress. Democrats oppose the move, but Republican Senator Rick Scott is urging lawmakers to codify it.
Fox's Marianne Rafferty. The change makes it a secondary name for the department for now, and they'll start calling Pete Hegseth the Secretary of War. He's defending the U.S. military strike this week, destroying a boat off the coast of Venezuela that Hegseth says was full of terrorist gang members transporting illegal drugs.
Every boatload of any form of drug that poisons the American people is an imminent threat.
In response, 2 Venezuelan fighter jets flew over a U.S. Navy ship that was part of a recent deployment in the Caribbean. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Ecuador, where he designated 2 gangs foreign terrorist organizations. National Guard troops will remain on patrol in Washington, D.C. through November. Fox's Jared Halpern's at the White House.
The National Guard was activated as part of President Trump's surge of federal law enforcement to combat crime in D.C. The extension of the troop presence comes as the D.C. Attorney General filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, arguing the deployment is an illegal military occupation.
Democrats are also pushing back, threatening legal action in other cities the president's considering sending troops to. President reiterating support for Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after a contentious hearing at the Senate.
76.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease. This is stunning.
Democrats like Senator Ron Wyden very critical.
You've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing.
America's listening to Fox News.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
No need for traffic updates. We always steer you right. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Get that poison cranking up this morning. Come on, it's
There we
Friday.
go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ain't nothing better. Dude, we don't do this often. We don't do a This Date in History often. But today is a very special day, and it's being illuminated by what would be on the jukebox at Waffle House. Today, in 1955, Avondale Estates, Georgia, Waffle House opened its doors for the first time.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
It's a glorious day and deserves to be celebrated. It deserves to be recognized. And when I read it this morning, I was like, oh, dear heavens. I just went to Waffle House the day before yesterday and got me one of those hash brown bowls where they put just hash browns and eggs and sausage and cheese. That's all. I mean, it's just a hash brown bowl. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. I've been getting that thing for, gosh, how long have they been having those? 10 years at least. That is my go-to, and I'm still smiling from ear to ear because I got to go to Waffle House this week.
I will tell you, Tug, so last night, my older daughter, had a volleyball match just down the street from our radio station.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was over with. It took me longer to get there than it took for them to beat them, all right?
When you text us yesterday, I was like, congratulations, I think congratulations. It was great that they won, but wow, to drive all the way down 30 minutes to wipe them out, wax the floor with the other team, and then have to drive back an hour. Goodness.
It was over with. Now, the fun part was, as we're heading back home, because I always joke around with my daughters, I'm like, winners get to pick what they want for dinner.
I love this.
And my daughter goes, can I get breakfast for dinner?
Yes, you can, baby girl.
We ordered Waffle House. I picked up Waffle House just down the street. That's what she had for dinner.
Gosh, she's a great kid. A great athlete, great kid, and a well wise beyond her young years.
She just wanted some hash browns and some city ham.
Heck yeah, dude. I do love some city ham. God, and the fact that she calls it city ham makes me
It's city
smile.
ham, yeah.
Right.
What is city ham?
It's sugar cured.
Yeah.
Sugar cured. Oh, is that like the cubes that they put in there?
What? So there's country ham, which is more of a, it's a little saltier.
Yeah.
And then sugar cured is city ham.
This is something I'm very ignorant of.
Oh, wow.
I need to update my ham info.
Yeah, exactly, buddy. You got to get yourself right.
This is a big deal in my house, Jure. Like, it's city ham is, for the most part, that is what the girls always go for. But, I mean, ham is ham to me.
Yeah, me too. I love it all.
But at Waffle House, you better know what ham you're ordering.
Yeah. You got to ask for the right thing.
I just asked for scattered, covered, and chunked. I know chunked, you're getting those little cubes in your hash brown. That's what I'm looking for.
I bet that's city ham.
I mean, to this day, like, I can still recite the Waffle House, the Waffle House order. It's all-star eggs over easy bacon waffle, and it shows up. And I don't even eat that stuff anymore yet.
Yeah, but you still
there's a soft spot in my heart for it.
Yeah, it's hard not to, man. I have Waffle House T-shirts and hats, dude. I've been a fan of Waffle House for my birthday. Every year we go to Waffle House. My wife doesn't even ask, where do you want to go for dinner? She knows.
Waffle House.
Then I'm going to Waffle House. That's where I want to go for my birthday.
Man, if she wasn't sure that you were country, she knows that.
That's right. You can't mistake it, dude. When she wants to go to like Rumi's Kitchen, which I love.
It's a great place.
Middle Eastern food there. They have
so good.
There's one I think in Sandy Springs, and then there's the one at Avalon. And dude, I bet there's plenty of stuff that you can have in there too, right?
Oh my God, Rumi's Kitchen is amazing.
So good. Those roasted tomatoes with that rice is just out of this world delicious. It's so good.
And yet,
when it's my birthday, I want to go to Waffle House. She wants to go to Rumi's. That's usually the go-to. Do y'all have it? Is it nailed down like that for your house?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, my girls are so used to every Saturday or Sunday morning they ask the question. I have the app on my phone for a reason. And mine, I know exactly what it is. I click on that. I pretty much put it in. I have to manually enter the tip because it only allows you 10, 20, 25%. I'm like, oh, no. They have more coming their way. And so I always have to manually enter the tip. But, yeah, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, if that's like the treat in our house. When I was growing up, it was donuts.
Yep.
For my girls, it's Waffle House.
Yeah, today we remember Tom Faulkner and Joe Rogers, the founders of the Waffle House, on September 5th. 1955 in Avondale Estates, Georgia. God bless those two men.
There we go.
Yes, sir. So getting on to the other things. I mean, last night was so interesting, and I know we talked about at the beginning of the show, but I feel like it deserves to be talked about a little bit more, is the fact that there was two big, huge events yesterday that kind of captivated social media, captivated our attention. One was RFK, which we're going to get to, but the other was the whole spitting incident in that game versus the Eagles, your Cowboys versus the Eagles, which was, I mean, social media, all I saw on social media prior to that was the RFK stuff. That's it. That's all I saw. And then when that happened, that was all I saw. It moved everything out. It was so overwhelming for people.
I think the best description that I can have for all of this is to go to our friend Brian Finneran, who played, I think it ended up being 11 years in the league. And as much as when Jalen Carter spits on Dak Prescott, he gets immediately ejected. And by the way, he's their best defensive player, and he's ejected before he even plays one snap.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, that's what it is. To read through what Finneran posted is exactly, oh my God, it's exactly what the rest of the league was probably talking about. You can be dirty, you can be a little bit nasty out there, you can be a rough player, you don't spit on another man.
Well, it's just, there has to be something else going on. I said this earlier, there has to be something underlying going on in his life to cause you to have that reaction. You know what I mean? That's not a normal reaction to any argument, any discussion. I mean, I've seen people brawling on Navy ships. I've seen people brawling outside of bars and just beating the piss out of each other, punching each other in the mouth, and I never saw any of them spit on each other. There's just a lowdown that you don't go to, and that's it.
Yeah, and I guess that was what was so wild about it, was that in a league where there's a ton of 300-pound players, there's a ton of tough guys, the one very simple thing was you don't spit on another man.
Yeah, that's it. So anyway,
that's it.
And it was just, I couldn't believe it when I saw the replay of it, and it is very clear.
Yeah, they didn't miss it.
Those 4K cameras work really, really well.
And to see the umpire, who's walking in, because they've got the line judges, they've got everybody else, but the primary guy who's walking in, and right when it happens, he just kind of looks like, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
As he throws the flag, and that's the end of Jalen Carter's night.
Yeah, the rest of us looked at it the exact same way. Nobody could believe exactly what they'd seen.
And by the way, for somebody who was watching, okay, I'm not a big fan of Brian Schottenheimer. Okay, they played well last night. They were well coached. Yeah. They played well. I spent that entire first couple of minutes going, oh, how typical of the Cowboys, they've been one of the most penalized teams in the league for the last several years. I was like,
you thought it was
perfect.
on them before you
Yeah.
knew? Okay.
I thought it was on them. I was like, oh, perfect.
Of course, this is the way we're going to start the game.
And then the way that they played, I was like, all right, it's going to be a fun year. And I was sitting back going like, all right, they got a shot. They're gonna be a good football team. But at that same time, every now and then it stuck into my brain. I went, who spits on another dude?
No doubt. When Brian Fenrick, because I just found his tweet, he's a dirtbag. That's the exact summation that I would make. That is a dirtbag move. That is just the lowest of the low. Anyway, I felt like we needed to talk about it a little bit because everybody else is. There's nobody that had. You don't even have to love the NFL. You don't have to love football. This is one of those things that starts in sports but becomes a bigger conversation than sports. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Now to the other fireworks that were happening around noon, 1 o'clock yesterday. I got to the gym, and me and the guy that I work out with, John's a great dude, we were watching. We didn't even get into our workout because we were so glued to the testimony of RFK in front of the Senate Finance Committee and the discussion of the CDC and the discussion of vaccines. Then we got a workout in, and then I went home and watched the rest of it. And that consumed most of the day for me yesterday because I was so proud of RFK for taking the gloves off and laying down the law on these people who are bought and paid for, Los. We've discussed it so many times. I don't trust any of those fools. I don't trust the CDC, and I've got no reason to trust them or the CDC. So when they were defending themselves and they were defending vaccines, they were defending the CDC, I was so glad to see RFK put them in their place.
No, and I'll tell you this, Tug. I ended up tweeting out the information. When you look at the senators who had gotten the most amount of money from Big Pharma, they were the loudest ones. It was like one after another where they had all received somewhere in the area of 6 figures, and their job yesterday was to try and make RFK Jr. sound like a wackadoo. And credit to him, like he went right at them. I want you to listen to Senator Hazan, because this particular person, I thought for me, this was the most enlightening moment of the entire time that I was listening, because this was the only time that you had RFK Jr., because of a question from a senator, explain how the process works.
Why have you acted behind closed doors to overrule scientists and limit the freedom of parents to choose the COVID vaccine for their children? Why have you done that?
For the COVID vaccine, I was removed by FDA because there was the industry.
No, it was behind closed doors.
No, that's not
and scientists who said they wanted to brief you on the scientists who wanted to understand why the FDA, why you unilaterally changed the parameters for giving vaccines, making it possible now, to Senator Cassidy's colleagues' points, that they're going to have to go off-label.
This is crazy talk. You're just making stuff up.
To prescribe a vaccine for children. I'm not making things up. Do you know how the FDA approval process works and what happens?
I know exactly.
Do you know what an off-label prescription is?
I know exactly how it works. I know exactly how it works.
So why behind closed doors?
It's not behind closed doors. The industry makes the studies, and they could not provide a study that said that it is effective for healthy kids.
So when have you produced the data that you relied on and that this FDA relied on to change those parameters? You did it behind closed doors.
No, the data is all public.
Now parents who decide that they do want their children to have
You're just making stuff up, Senator.
I'm not
You're just making stuff up.
You know...
There's a name, and I thought about doing a story time about this, and maybe next week. There's a name in Curtis Wright. Now, Curtis Wright is not someone that's not a name that people are going to jump out and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know Curtis Wright. Curtis Wright was somebody who worked for the FDA. He was the last line of defense during the 1990s, where Curtis Wright, and this is all public record now, he kept on telling Purdue Pharma, you can't sell OxyContin. It's not going to happen. And then something occurred, and Curtis Wright ended up signing off on it after a multitude of times. So when you have RFK Jr. saying, this group, the FDA, they're given studies by the pharmaceutical drug companies.
Right.
You know, they do their own studies, and they tell you they're the ones that are like, hey, we checked it out.
Yeah, there's no third-party credibility going on.
Curtis Wright, when it came to the 1990s, eventually signed off on it, and it killed what? The opioid epidemic killed, 300,000, 400,000?
Amazing. It's still people still struggle with that addiction.
And by the way, Tug, after he was done at the FDA, guess who he went and worked for? Purdue Pharma.
Oh, imagine that. I can't imagine that being the case, Los.
That's how the game works.
Of course it does. And the people that leave the FDA, they go and then they become lobbyists for Big Pharma. They become lobbyists for these companies. And it's just, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We're going to push this through. It does not matter. We're going to do the studies. We're going to tell you that it's safe. And nobody else is going to have the opportunity. Nobody else is going to be able to question this. Because if you don't take it, you're anti-vax. Because that a long time ago, dude, that was like a scarlet letter.
Yeah.
The old anti-vax thing. Man, let me tell you, I've told you the story many times about my mama being anti-vax before it was cool. I remember her and having discussions, with my aunts and uncles. They'd be playing Rook, and I'd be watching, Scooby-Doo on TV or something. And I remember those discussions and getting into not heated arguments, but very strong debates about, hey, should you do this or should you not? And it's not changed at all. People feel so strongly about it. And when you look at the numbers, that I was looking at a number, Los, just about general allergies. But since that we've introduced so many vaccines into kids, and with the schedule that kids have to take, and it's 80 or 90? Kids being allergic to animal dander and having food allergies and regular allergies just to everyday things in the atmosphere, in the environment has shot up like 50% or some gigantic number. And the reason that stood out to me so much is because my son is allergic to all of that stuff. He's allergic to we had to get a dog that was hypoallergenic. He can't have certain foods. He is always struggling with his allergies from the environment. And when you think about, well, how did that happen? My wife's not like that. I'm not like that. And all of a sudden he is. There's got to be a reason behind it. It can't just be random.
Well, it was RFK Jr. who brought up yesterday. He talked about there's a 76% fold increase.
What a number.
in all these issues that are going on with people.
76%, dude.
76%.
7 out of 10, almost 8 out of 10 people are struggling with some sort of health issue, chronic issue.
Everybody has something, and I'm sitting back as I'm listening to it. And I'm like, well, good thing I don't have anything. I mean, but in my mind, I'm going, it's not far off.
Well, but dude,
I mean, I like all of my friends. Everybody has something they're dealing with.
Well, think about the reason you eat the way you do, right?
And it's because at the time, 5 years ago, I was told we're going to put you on a statin and you're going to be on it the rest of your life. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I made a change.
So there had to be something there. But then on top of that, there has to be...
But the rest of the world still is like, I'll take the pill.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. But I would even say being allergic or having a adverse reaction to animal fats, that's something that's only happened in the last 20 or 30 years. I mean,
it's what our food is made
exactly
of. I mean,
right. It's what's in our food and what they've done to it.
And I think that's part of what was going on yesterday is that so much of what was going on was it's all encompassing. It's not one thing.
Right.
Now,
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
You totally had Tug. You had so many of these senators who were like, hey, they're bought and paid for. They're all vaccine enthusiasts. Here's where their money comes from. If there's one thing that RFK Jr. keeps bringing up, he's like, this is multi-pronged. It's like, if it turns out that it does not have to do with a vaccine schedule, why we have an explosion, right? In autism.
In autism, yeah.
And he says, hey, what our connection that we've drawn to it is Tylenol use during this time period, which is the way it looks like it's going. That's like earth-shattering.
Yeah.
Like that changes the entire game.
Absolutely it does. And I want to be clear. Like I talk about my mom that way. RFK is not anti-vax. He's labeled that because he thinks we need to make sure that there's a reason to have those vaccines. And when you take the vaccine, there's all kinds of things that he brings up. He's like, I'm not anti-vax at all. That I want people to understand what they're putting in their body, and the fact that something you hit right there, it is so multi-pronged. It's medicine. It's what's in our food. It's what's in vaccines. There's so many things that we have introduced into our bodies that are causing these issues, and that's all he's bringing up, and they're melting down over it. It's crazy to see this thing shake out the way it has. A former New York City mayor says Democrats, if they want to get elected again, they should start sounding more communist. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Glenn Beck until noon. Clay and Buck from noon to 3. And the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. Plus Jesse Kelly from 6 to 9. And Jimmy Vela from 9 to midnight. The voices you need all day with the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, Remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Fox Facts.
Long before weather apps, farmers reached for slim little books promising a peek at the seasons ahead. The first, the Old Farmer's Almanac, was created in 1792 by Robert B. Thomas in Massachusetts. Using astronomical charts and a secret formula, he predicted long-range weather, planting cycles, and offered household tips. A generation later, in 1818, New Jersey school teacher David Young launched a rival publication, The Farmer's Almanac, blending folklore and astronomy for the same purpose. Both quickly became trusted tools on American farms. More than 2 centuries later, they're still published every late summer. Each claims about 80% accuracy, though studies show it's more like 50%. Still, millions buy them every year for planting charts, moon phases, and a quirky link to the past that technology hasn't replaced. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A life-saving mission in Pittsburgh by a heroic pit bull makes today's Dean's List. Gary Thines was out with his pup when another dog appeared with his leash dragging on the ground. He was barking and trying to get Gary's attention, and he knew something was up, so he followed the dog. Gary was then joined by a woman who also had a sense that this dog was trying to tell them something. They went down a path behind some train tracks, and that's when Gary saw 2 tents with a man laying down, unresponsive. Gary called 911 and discovered another person who also appeared unwell. The woman he was with was a social worker and knew who the people were and said she would be in touch. Meantime, Gary said he would take care of their dog until they were well enough to be reunited. Gary says that God was there to help, and their dog was a little hero who saved their lives. Janice Dean, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Friday, September 5th. A vigil was held Thursday night for victims of the shooting at Appalachian High School 1 year ago. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed, 9 others were injured. The 14-year-old alleged shooter and his father were both arrested. The father's trial, originally scheduled for next week, was reset for February of next year, earlier this week. Cobb Fire officials are investigating what caused a garbage truck to lose control and crash into the front of a Smyrna home, causing the home to catch fire. 2 people in the home were unharmed. One of the workers on the garbage truck was hospitalized. Neighbors said the fire spread unusually fast. And Georgia Tech received the largest donation in the school's history. Alumnus John Durstein gave $100 million to the George Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering. The Woodruff School has one of the largest and most influential mechanical and nuclear engineering programs in the country, with more than 3,000 students and 110 faculty members. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s. We'll have some scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com, Tug and Los until 10. I think getting elected in the United States is a really, really difficult thing to do, especially at the, at major office levels, and it is really, really expensive to do. But when you have good policies and good ideas and you implement them and they work, getting elected, becomes easier. And getting reelected becomes easier.
Well, you need to hit Tug level.
Well, what's that? Well, I don't know what that means. What's that mean?
Well, what happens is everybody else out there, if you try and, run for city council or school board, you can do that. The minute you want to be, let's say, a member of the House or, God forbid, a senator, you really need big old money backing. You need to be like on Tug level where everyone knows Tug. Everyone wants to love on Tug, and that's how that goes. I mean, again, you can win all the other ones without reaching Tug level, but if you really want the highest levels of getting in there, you got to be on Tug level.
That's crazy talk.
Everybody's like, oh, Tug's here.
Lo's been drinking this way. I know it's Friday, dude. You can't start drinking it.
Not this early. No,
7:28. Sound crazy.
Let me be very honest. Last night, after the hour and a half delay with the Cowboys-Eagles game, I actually shut it down because I went, there's no way I'm going to make it through this game.
No
so
kidding,
I was like, shut it down.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. Holy cow. But so everybody understands that politics, it takes a lot of money to get elected. But the right message is important. The Democrats are convinced that they have, a messaging problem. And I contend they have a policy problem, and everything that they believe in is wrong. But Bill de Blasio, former mayor of New York City, he's convinced that if Democrats if they talk more like Zohan Mamdani, they'll be winning all over the country. So promise people everything for free, say whatever it takes, like communists do, and win. That's what he's convinced of. That's what his message is to Democrats. And I believe every one of them, they seemingly are biting this hook, line, and sinker, man. They don't run from the name communism like they used to. They're embracing it.
Man, it's a weird scenario. You would hope that it doesn't work, because you would imagine that there's got to be an amount of people that they just know better. They grew up with this stuff. They've seen how history plays out. They know. I'll go back to when we had our interns in studio. They both understood that there is nothing for free.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things that jumped out. I mean, they were both like, somebody's paying for it. The problem ends up being, Tug, is that the people that are supposed to be the ones that'll tell you, there's nothing for free, this is not possible, they're the ones that are in that boomer generation that have completely bought all this stuff.
Yeah, and I can't imagine how or why, because I've used the example of my father-in-law when he sees something that he doesn't like, and it doesn't have to be political. Like, he's a New York Yankees fan because he's born and raised in New York. If people talk about the Red Sox, his arch enemy, he's like, oh, they're commies. Yeah, but because it was the joke,
everything's
right?
commie.
Yeah, anything he doesn't like is commie, and he's part of the baby boom generation. So how in the world did so many people in the baby boom become so lefty, loony, liberal that they're embracing socialism and communism and saying that's the way we need to move forward, having seen what it's done to Cuba, having seen what it does in North Korea, Russia, Ukraine, China, for heaven's sake. I have a hard time wrapping my head around when it went from being a joke, you call anything you don't like that, to, hey, let's give it a try. That's quite a leap, man.
And I guess what's so weird about it, Tug, the people that are the parents of the baby boomer generation, they won World War II. Like, they were the ones who actually defeated Nazism and made sure that Imperial Japan got put back in a box. And yet their children are the predominant factor when it comes to, we need to have communism. Like, how the hell did that happen?
It seems unbelievable. But then if you go back and you look at what Barack Obama and people like him stand for, it probably shouldn't be surprising at all. They're open about their wanting to. When we talk about the healthcare system and the Affordable Care Act, it was never supposed to succeed. They wanted it to fail. Barack Obama wanted it to fail so a single payer system could take over, a socialist system could take over. He was kind of the patron saint of socialism for the Democrat Party, and now the embrace of communism in the Democrat Party is in full swing. It sounds so good. But anybody that's foolish enough to believe it, I don't know how you can look at this when we asked our interns, as you brought up, that have almost zero life experience. They're like, we know nothing's free. If something is given to me, it's paid for by somebody. It doesn't matter if it's when Hudson Mason comes on, our former coworker that is now at Chick-fil-A, when he brings in the little free chicken sandwich coupons that are great, that everybody loves, somebody paid for that. It happened to be Chick-fil-A. They're writing that off as a marketing expense. It's free to you, yes, but somebody is paying for it.
I still think about when we had our interns on, and we asked the question. We started talking about, whether it was healthcare, whether it was school, and we had a 19-year-old intern who flat out said nothing is free. Yeah. I mean, at 19, she knew that. It's like, so how have we now reached this point where, whether it's de Blasio or whether it's anybody in New York, where they sit back and they go, oh, no, that makes a lot of sense. This is what I'm going to get. This is how it's going to work. It's like there is a trade-off for that.
Yeah, they tell you the same things every time. They tell you, equity. Everybody's going to get the same thing, and everybody's going to be so happy with their same thing. It's going to be wonderful. And what it truly is that the little people, regular folks, they get their fair share of nothing, and the rich get richer. They live behind gated communities. They don't have to worry about the crime that they allow running in the streets, and you're seeing that in cities like Chicago and you're seeing it in L.A. and San Francisco, and you were seeing it in D.C. until Donald Trump put the kibosh on it and actually got something done and fixed it. So when people say we're going to get our fair share, what their fair share is of nothing is nothing. You're not getting anything. They're going to promise you everything, and you're going to get nothing. I heard somebody say this a couple days ago, and I thought it was so smart. And they said, you can vote your way into socialism, but you'll have to shoot your way out. I thought that was the most genius thing that I'd ever heard, because it's the truth. Those people aren't going to let go of power for anything. And it will take a rebellion to overthrow that. And you're seeing it in those, in South American countries that are finally fed up with socialism. And if we were to adopt it here, goodness gracious, it would be the biggest wreck of everything that we know and love coming down, just falling. The walls would come down. It would be absolutely awful. And yet, these crazy white libs, and that's usually who's leading the charge, because people that came from those socialist countries that have come here,
they run from it.
Dude, they run from it.
Tug, say that phrase once again, as far as what happens when it comes to socialism, when it takes charge of your country.
You can vote yourself into socialism. You have to shoot your way out.
That, because over the course of history, there is no such thing as we've seen the error of our ways. It has to fall apart. It has to be where everyone suddenly goes back to zero and no one has anything. That's the only way that we've seen over the course of history where suddenly socialism completely falls apart. There is no such thing as, well, it was a bad idea, we voted against it.
Yeah, let's do something different.
It doesn't work that way.
They don't give up. Ask the people in Cuba. How long have the Castros been in charge? Those people have been wanting to overthrow communism forever, and they've not been able to. And it's just, dude, anybody who is asking for this is asking for so much trouble. And I feel like they're ignorant to it. I don't know how you are, but it feels like they're so ignorant to it that they're willing to just throw everything away. The greatest country that has ever graced the face of the earth, that has lifted more people out of poverty than anybody else, and we want to throw that away and give the rich and the elite everything, and you take nothing. That is so counterintuitive to me.
Well, I feel like there's something shameful about it all, where once you go down that road and then you realize this is terrible, these people have a hard time backing out of it. Like they're not able to say, well, that was a totally bad idea. Like it takes, just as you put it, it takes shooting your way out of it.
Dude, and if you need more evidence of it, Ilhan Omar, she makes, $176,000 a year, which is a great salary. Most people in America don't make that much. U.S. representatives too. Now, I contend they should make almost zero. You should have to want to be there. You should have to do the job that nobody wants to do. It should be a task to be a representative or a senator. That's a different story for a different day, but I do feel that way. And she makes $176,000 a year and now is worth $30 million a year. She's out there pushing...
How did that happen?
Yeah, how'd that happen? And she's the one out there pushing socialism and communism. Wonder why? She sees the power of government. She sees the power of the state, and she wants to use it to make sure you don't have the ability to do what she's done. I'm blown away by the ignorance of it all, and my sweet Aunt Peg she flies the Stars and Stripes on the 4th of July.
What?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she flies the flag on the 4th of July.
So she does the whole, hey, I'm a patriot.
Yes.
I just happen to love communism.
Yes, Los, yes. That's why I said I think she's ignorant to it. She's been brainwashed. She watches MSNBC every day. She watches The View every day. They've told her what to think. So she still flies the flag. And then she talks about how we need to change the United States of America to be more equitable, to be more caring, more kind. We need to kick open the doors of the borders and bring in measles and all those other things.
Communism always talks about the useful idiot.
And now, she's one of them. God love her.
Well, and that's the deal. It's not it, and I think there's a connotation. at times of like, okay, that person's dumb. No. What happens is they refer to these people as useful idiots. And what communism has always tried to do, they try and get people in the media and academia. Those are the two areas. They try and get like the sharpest people. They're trying to reach them. By the time that everything takes hold, the communists have always said, and it's Yuri Bezmenov, you can go over to YouTube, former CIA agent, he talks about the entire strategy for taking out the West. And when communism takes hold, the first people that are like, this is not working, are the academics and the media members. And so the communist only has one retort to that. Shoot them.
Yeah. Be done. Fix it. Fix the problem.
They were our primary people that got this instituted.
And then when they figure it out,
shoot them.
It's because by then, the useful idiot is no longer useful.
That's right.
Absolutely insane. So when you hear Bill de Blasio saying we need to talk more like Mamdani in New York City, you know what he's leading up to. Like, he's the useful idiot. I don't even know if he believes in socialism and communism. He may, but he's certainly an idiot for saying that. It's unreal. But that's what the Democrat Party is. It's what it's become, and that's what it is moving forward. It is not going to change anytime soon or ever. When we continue, one Democrat who says your rights don't come from God. You can probably guess where he thinks those rights come from. Next on the Morning Extra.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Honest Car Guy. HonestCarGuy.com. That is Tom. Now, Tom, and it's kind of shocking actually when you go ahead and give him a call. 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, because I've had a number of you who've reached out to me and you've said the same thing. Hey, Tom actually answers the phone. Yes, it's his company. Tom is going to take care of you. Now, what do you have to tell Tom when it comes to buying that next car? Very simply, make and model. That's it. You just let Tom know what you're interested in. Now, if you want to be part of the entirety of the process, Tom is fully transparent. You want to know where the car is coming from? You want to know what the price of that vehicle is going to be? Tom can take care of that for you. Or if you just want to say, Tom, you're like my car bloodhound. Like, go find it for me. You don't have to take part of it in any part of that. I mean, you can make it a point. I'm not going to spend my entire day, my entire weekend like you have to do over at a dealership doing this stuff. Tom will take care of it for you. And then by the time that he finds that vehicle and you say, okay, that's the one I want, then what do you owe Tom? You buy the car, you get the Honest Car Guy fee. That's it. That's all. It is that simple of a transaction. And when you start doing the math on it, you're going to save yourself thousands of dollars in this process because you're not dealing with all the dealership fees. Go ahead and give Tom a call. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 for the Honest Car Guy. 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, September 5th. The NFL is back. The world champion Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys last night 24-20, despite a 1.5-hour rain and lightning delay on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers will kick off from Brazil. That game will kick off at 8 o'clock. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are back in action and back at home as they host the Seattle Mariners in a weekend series. It'll be Chris Sale making the start tonight for the Braves. He'll be opposed by Logan Gilbert. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
I'm Michelle Stovall, and our company has been family-owned and operated for 75 years. Check us out at StovallINC.com, or better yet, stop by our newly opened 11th store at 9500 Union Hill Road in Canton. At Stovall, we supply you with all your landscaping project needs, completely hassle-free down to delivery. Been dreaming of an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, or other custom paver project? We partner with Keystone Hardscapes for all your beautiful high-end concrete needs. We look forward to making your landscape dreams come true. Stovall has it all.
It's September 5th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today's National Cheese Pizza Day. That's right, no peppers and onions, no pepperoni, and definitely no pineapple. Just a plain slice from your favorite pizza joint. The origins of pizza can be traced back to nearly every civilization who put their own spin on putting cheese on dough. However, the Italians have perfected the art of modern pizza making, and in the U.S., Americans have been eating pizza since the first pizzeria opened in 1905 in New York City's Little Italy. Also on this date, in 1966.
Walk on with hope in your
The first Jerry Lewis telethon for muscular dystrophy raised $1 million. The annual event would end up raising $2.5 billion to help find a cure. If it's your birthday today, you share it with Queen frontman Freddie Mercury, born in 1946. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Fox on Football. I'm Jared Max. Welcome to the 2025 NFL season, the first Sunday of games almost here. After 18 seasons with the Green Bay Packers and 2 years with the Jets, albeit one full season because of a torn Achilles tendon, Aaron Rodgers, approaching his 42nd birthday in December, begins anew with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, this is the second new, so it's the new. I'm loving being here.
Steelers fans await Aaron Rodgers' first game Sunday against the Jets in New Jersey. Week 1 of a new season for 7-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady back in the Fox TV broadcast booth with Kevin Burkhardt there in Landover, Maryland for Sunday's 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff between the Commanders and Giants. Fox also has early games between the Buccaneers and Falcons in Atlanta, the Browns and Bengals in Cleveland, Jaguars and Panthers in Jacksonville, 4 p.m. Eastern time starts, Seahawks home against the 49ers on Fox, Titans and the Broncos as well. Welcome back to the NFL. Jared Max, Fox News.
Promises made, promises kept. The president is making the economy great again. He's securing the border for America's safety, and the mainstream media still wants to tear him down.
The media wants Donald Trump to fail. That's their goal. That's how they'll report his progress.
But we know the truth, and we give you the perspective that other stations won't. Atlanta's only conservative voice is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
We've talked about how much the left has knelt down at the altar of government. They believe government provides everything. They believe government can give you everything and should give you everything. You shouldn't have to be, doing things on your own. You shouldn't have to be left up to you to get whatever it is you want to accomplish. It shouldn't be on your own merit. They'll take care of it for you. That's what they believe in. And then they said it out loud in a way that sent me over the edge yesterday. I'm not a fan of Tim Kaine. I wasn't a fan of his when he was the vice presidential nominee a few years ago. Was it Hillary that he was the VP candidate
for Hillary in 2016? Yeah.
But you see the theme in all the people that they pick on the left. They all have that belief in government. And Tim Kaine, he said it out loud in a way that nobody could mistake.
I've grown beyond this, and the reason why I say this is because it used to be that when I was on X and I wanted to know who my opponent was, I would always say, "Where do your rights come from?" And more often than not, they would always say it comes from government, it comes from these laws, it comes from these rules. No, the founding of this country was that your individual rights come from God. That's why they cannot be messed with. And so I want you to take a listen. Here's Tim Kaine as he's explaining where your rights really come from.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
Dude, he just compared our Constitution to Iran. What kind of fool, what kind of knucklehead, what kind of government-worshiping clown do you have to be to make the leap from the greatest document that gives more individual rights bestowed on us by God to the Iranians that we just bombed because we don't want them to have a nuke because they'll kill us all?
I consider these things to be different. And the fact that Tim Kaine decided to link them is incredibly ridiculous. Those people there, when it comes to, as he's talking about, like, oh, look what's going on with their religion. Their religion is first and foremost. Okay, most people in the Middle East can have all the sex with goats they want. Yeah. All right? We're going to make sure that we have individual liberty and individual rights. And just because they are run as a, better part of a theocracy, we are not. Now, what is our belief? It's that the creator of us, the God, gave us these rights to have, and it gave us free will so we can make our decisions, we can govern ourselves, we can make all the mistakes or have all the success we want to. And the fact that this man was a VP candidate at one point is shocking.
But it shouldn't be, because this is exactly who they are. They're showing you who they are.
Yep.
They will tell you out loud who they are. All you have to do is listen. And for anybody that hears Tim Kaine and goes, yeah, that's exactly right. You deserve to be in Iran. You deserve to be in China, in communist China. You need to live under those types of governments and that type of oppression. That way, when you come back, you'll be thankful to the good Lord in heaven that you're able to come back to America. You need to experience that before you can make a statement like that, Tim Kaine.
Well, you can read any one of the founding fathers, and you can read the Federalist Papers, you can read through our founding documents, and there's always something that is consistent with it. The reason why God, from a Judeo-Christian ethics standpoint, it's that if this is the number one, here's where your rights come from, then anything that encroaches on those rights, you should probably look to overthrow it. That's as we joked around about it, treason is the reason for the season.
That's right.
All right, yeah. We're a treasonous people. We were like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to self-govern. Here's how it's going to be. That's again, like, as you read through what our founders looked at, the only infallible option they saw was God. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Man is fallible the entire time.
Which is the way I see it. I don't trust in any human, because the good book tells me that I can't, because we are fallible. We are sinners. We are broken. Every one of us. And for Tim Kaine to stand up there and look down his nose at religious values in the United States of America, it tells me everything I need to know and why I need to avoid the Democrats like crazy. I mean, down to local elections. And there's one here in the state of Georgia that's coming up in September. I'll get the exact date. I think it's the 23rd, September 23rd, where State Senator Brandon Beach stepped down to join the administration, and there is a runoff coming, an election coming between a Democrat and a Republican in the local area. And I put it on our calendar so me and my wife wouldn't forget to go vote, because it's not widely publicized and it's not talked about. But I want to make sure that a Democrat is not elected in my area because of crap just like this. I guarantee you this woman believes the exact same stuff. She wouldn't align herself with the Democrat Party if she didn't, all the way down to the local election. It's how important it is to me to make sure that Democrats are not elected because of things like that are being said by people like Tim Kaine, and then that sorry excuse for Democrats questioning RFK yesterday. I want nothing to do with these people when it comes politically. That's what I'm talking about, politically. I have plenty of friends that are Democrats. I just don't talk politics with them because I know there's going to be some sort of rift that will make it uncomfortable.
What happens ultimately is these people reveal themselves for who they are.
Every time. They can't help it.
And I think about it from your perspective, Tug. Tug Coward, if anybody's ever around Tug, it's going to take you about 5 minutes to go, okay, I get what he's about. Nice dude, friendly to everybody. He's just a genuine person. That's how it's going to be.
I appreciate you saying that.
What happens on their side is they play the game as long as they can, and then eventually it slips out. The founding of this country was faulty.
Yes,
that's their mentality.
That's what it boils down to.
That's all Tim Kaine was giving you there. He was actually equating the theocracy that goes on in a country like Iran to the same sort of theocracy we have here. As in free will is some sort of bad thing.
Yeah, and freedom of speech that goes along with that. And then, of course, that we are irredeemable. That's the other thing. Because in the Bible, it says no one is irredeemable. No one. No matter what you've done, no one's irredeemable. But the Democrats believe that America is. So they are in direct opposition of what the good book says out of the gate.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Every single time. Again, the founders of this country knew that, they were great historians. They did all the research. They knew, and you can read through all this stuff. They knew that man can never be depended on.
Yeah.
So what do you do to create fail safes to make sure if you got the wrong man?
Yeah.
And that's the government they created.
Absolutely, and it was genius. And we've got so much work to do to save it because they would love to tear it apart, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to do just that. And if the last 4 years haven't taught you anything, then I don't know how to help you. It should be, it's like it's written on billboards. It's like it's flying by with one of those signs that pull behind airplanes. You better be paying attention. These people want to tear down America. They do not want it to exist. And they've proven it to you again and again and again. When we continue on Extra 106.3, RFK turned the table on the Democrats and started asking questions that they would not answer. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, I know y'all are on the edge of your seats right now, wanting to hear my opinion on how Trump is doing so far. And even if you're not waiting to hear my opinion, you're going to hear it anyway. By and large, like most decent Americans, I'm really happy with what he's doing. The Democrats said, we need comprehensive immigration reform bills to close the border. He did it in 2 days. I wonder how many lives he's saved by shutting the borders and keeping more criminal aliens out. The tariffs, probably a good idea. Other presidents have used them. International relations, hey, look, he got most of Europe paying their share of the NATO funding, but why can't he get tougher on Vladimir Putin? That man is a megalomaniac, and he's going to cost millions of lives. Trump has the power to shut off their oil revenue completely. Do it. Sending the National Guard to get a hold of crime in Washington, D.C., great move. Lives saved. Easy move because D.C. is a federal enclave, giving Trump really supreme command. Sending troops to other cities? Well, there is something called the Posse Comitatus Act. Federal law says you can't send U.S. troops to do policing in American cities without specific authorization. A bit of a problem there, but here's something that really bothers me. Day before yesterday, he says, I'm thinking about stripping Rosie O'Donnell of her citizenship. Number one, who gives a damn? Number two, he knows he can't do it. And number three, why does he even go there? It takes away from the seriousness of the things he's trying to accomplish when he goes after that pathetic sort of female. Leave her alone. Let her wallow in her own misery. And the same goes for a lot of the other people that he picks on. All in all, good job, and so glad the hyena is not in the White House. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. Long Island prosecutors gave the green light to use crucial DNA evidence in their case against accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. The ruling marks a big victory for Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, whose case against the architect hinged almost entirely on DNA matches linking Heuermann to 6 of the 7 sex workers he's charged with killing between 1993 and 2010. At issue is the new DNA technology used, known as whole genome sequencing, which has not been tested in a New York court. The DNA results deemed admissible by the judge were obtained from rootless hairs recovered from 6 of the victims. Heuermann's attorney claims it's a public health violation, and the judge is expected to rule on the challenge later this month. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty. Cops conducted 2 thorough searches of Heuermann's home in Massapequa Park and said they found a how-to file on the killings. The file allegedly included a Things to Remember section and another titled Lessons Learned. There's more on the story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Through November, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We continue to work to ensure that everyone that walks through these city streets is safe.
That's D.C. Guard Commander General Leland Blanchard extending a Trump crackdown the president says has brought crime down to virtually nothing. But Washington's Attorney General has filed suit trying to end the Guard deployment.
We have Democratic leaders here kind of flip-flopping on their take on having this federalization here, but at the same time receiving a lot of praise for falling crime rates. Let's see what this is what D.C.'s AG Brian Schwab said yesterday about this lawsuit. He wrote, "No American city should have the U.S. military, particularly out-of-state military, who are not accountable to the residents and untrained in local law enforcement policing its streets." It's D.C. today, but could be any other city tomorrow.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the White House, where later today, the president, in an executive order, will rebrand the Department of Defense the War Department, what it used to be called, though a permanent name change would need congressional approval. Democrats keep calling for HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be fired over vaccine policy changes and the firings of the CDC director and others, following a contentious Senate hearing when Kennedy sparred over and over with Democrats, telling Maggie Hassan,
You're just rejecting You're making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
Senator Mark Warner said,
Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
Some Republicans were also critical of Kennedy over vaccines, but President Trump is standing by him.
If you look at what's going on in the world with health, and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
Will the president trust the monthly jobs report coming out later this hour? It's the first one since the much weaker than expected July update that included massive revisions down in hiring for May and July, prompting the president to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. America's listening to Fox News.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug and Los until 10. Thank God it's Friday. Thank you for being here with us. If you continue to listen throughout the day, you'll get the Glenn Beck program at 10. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, biggest show in all of conservative media, from noon until 3. And then this afternoon at 3, the one, the only, The Kimmer Show. The only place you can get Kimmer is on Extra 106.3.
Yeah. You already ruined the show a little bit.
I did. Well, I did. I just took one piece.
It was one piece though, but I mean, it was a big piece.
I feel like that one's near and dear to my heart, man. I'm not talking about
I get it.
What song came out when or who sang it. Or I'm not taking any of that thunder, and I have a passion for that stuff too, just like Kimber does. And I always stay away from it. I always steer clear from it. This is something that was born and bred into me, Los. I can't help it. It's who I am. It's part of my DNA. If you took some DNA from me, put it under a magnifying glass, you would see Waffle House hash browns.
I think Tug is trying to say, if you cut me, I bleed.
Yeah, I bleed Waffle House yellow. What Los is talking about is today, back in 1955, in Avondale Estates, Georgia, is when the Waffle House first opened, and this is a glorious day. It's Friday. Like last week, Jure set it up really nice when he talked about how on top of it being Labor Day and a beautiful weekend, it was also payday, and it couldn't have gotten better. And then football was back too. He had all those things, and all that stuff was correct. But let me tell you, this week, this Friday, being Friday, it's not payday, but it is the celebration of the gloriousness that is the Waffle House, which I think is on the same level.
There's going to be a part of me that right now I'd like, and this was shocking to me. This is like 2 years ago. I used to call my local Waffle House on a regular basis and make my food order. And I still remember about 2 years ago when I made the phone call and they were like, Carlos, because they actually knew me on the phone, we have an app now. You have to do this. So now, I feel kind of weird about it. I mean, you remember when Waffle House was cash only?
Yeah.
And you also remember when you couldn't put an online order in? You had to show up and do it.
I mean, dude, you had to have quarters for the jukebox.
That's right. Now, they take credit cards and online orders. I feel really weird about this.
It does feel, but look, they're just doing whatever.
Food's great. Food's totally great.
Food has never changed. The people have never changed, man. When I went over there, we went over to the one off of Roswell Road, and I got off of exit 6 400 and just shot over there to Roswell Road and the ladies in there were the sweetest ladies in the whole world. It's one of those where you can't wait to leave the tip because you want them to know how much you appreciate how kind they were, how attentive they were. Like, there are times, I don't know about you, there are times when I enjoy leaving a tip because I want those people to know. I want that sweet lady to know how much I appreciated her. That was the kind of visit I had most recently at Waffle House.
Tug, have you ever had the awkward Waffle House moment? Not like getting in a fight or anything.
I was going to say, when you stumble in there and you start throwing chairs, is that awkward?
No, nothing violent. But, like, for instance, where you walk into a Waffle House and you go, man, that waitress is pretty attractive. How did she end up at Waffle House? And then you start wondering a whole lot of different stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because my old Waffle House, like there was some very nice ladies, and all I could think of was, I'm so glad you're here, but how did you get here? I love this.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This is the greatest. Well, look, they're the greatest cross-section, I guess I should say. The greatest cross-section of people in the world end up at Waffle House. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or you're a
everybody loves Waffle House.
Everybody goes there. And the conversations that are had in the Waffle House, and usually between tables. Now, I've seen it when Kid Rock goes in there and, things go really, really south and there's a chair going through the window. I've seen that too. And that happens, but it's so rare. Those stand out because it is so rare that people get in fights in Waffle House. But people try to make it as something that happens.
Well, imagine the amount of respect where when it comes to your birthday, of all places, you're all about Waffle House.
Every time, every year, man, I go. That's what my wife knows it.
When I talk about fascinating people and I say I want to take them to Waffle House, like, I want to have a conversation in a diner.
That's right.
And Waffle House is the best one I know.
Absolutely right, dude. What kind of great conversations have you had at Waffle House? I bet there's been plenty. I bet there's been, it may be like a bit of a golf course where there's the deals that are made, right? You go to Waffle House to either put a deal together, as a businessman, businesswoman, business person, whatever you want to call it. You go there and you do that. But then there's those when you go there and you get the news that the baby's yours. You know what I mean? And everything in between.
Well, let him down easy.
There's some dynamic conversations that go on at the Waffle House. I know it. There's no doubt in my mind that all of those and everything in between have happened at the wonderful Waffle House. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. I'm so glad that you're here, and I feel like we owe you a debt of gratitude for making this station such a success, and this show such a success too. But I feel like we talk about the things that are important, like Waffle House and like RFK being a disruptor. Dude, this guy is like nobody that I've seen. And I didn't even know that I don't know that I realized how much I liked RFK until yesterday. I knew that he was one of the most popular people in the cabinet because he's not afraid to go up against whomever. And this is a guy that has been at he's from like a royal family, essentially. I mean, we don't have royalty in America, but it's as close to a royal family as you get in the Kennedys. But he's not afraid to talk about the fall, right? Wasn't he a heroin addict?
Oh, yeah. No, he was an addict.
Yeah. But to go from royal family to having the fall to working yourself back up, he's like the great American comeback story a little bit.
I really think that when we talk about system disruptors, there's a reason why. The day after Donald Trump was shot in Pennsylvania, what does he do? He reaches out to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and flat out tells him, I need you on this group. Like, I need you part of this.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't going to be on energy. It wasn't going to be on.
And Trump is vocal about that, which is great.
Yeah, he jokes around about it. He's like, I'm not letting him anywhere near energy. But when it comes to the thing that Robert F. Kennedy at this point with his age, that he's most passionate about is what is going on where America is so sick. And you turn loose this dude on the entirety of the process, whether it's the FDA, the CDC, all of it, HHS secretary, he's the guy in charge of all of it. And to watch what happened yesterday really came down to me. There are people that want the status quo that makes them a lot of money, that gets them, reelected, and then there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
The disruptor, to use your word, that you've been using as long as you've been, exiled down here on the island of misfit toys, an extra 106.3. But I want you to listen to him talking with Senator Michael Bennet from Colorado. And Michael Bennett's talking about COVID vax, and the topic of myocarditis comes up. And RFK goes at him and turns the tables and starts asking the questions, and Michael Bennet is dumbfounded.
Are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
Is
that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire...
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're not that question.
I'm asking the questions,
I
Mr.
asked
Kennedy.
you a question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth,
Amen.
And that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
I believe it too, man. I don't trust the CDC and haven't for a long time. But then when COVID came around, that's when my trust in the CDC fell through the floor. And I think that's the way most people feel about it. That's probably the first time that ever really thought about their trust in the CDC is when COVID was a big deal and they were pushing out all the crazy information that they did.
Well, and I'll tell you, Tug, remember the CDC just a couple years before COVID, when we had the Ebola outbreak in Africa, not the latest one where that has gone on, but when we had those Americans that actually contracted it there, they were flown to Atlanta and the CDC went to war on it. And these three people that were, let's face it, Ebola, it's like almost a 9 in 10 death rate. If you got the wrong strain, you're going to die. You're going to bleed out. Here's what's going to happen. And the CDC was able to come up with some protocols and saved every single one of them. They actually walked out of the CDC and got a standing ovation. And everybody was all excited about it. To think that just about 2.5 years later, the CDC would come the biggest freaking joke.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like once you lose that belief in a public institution, it is really hard to ever get it back.
Yeah, dude. Trust. That what people say it all the time, man. Respect and trust is something that is earned. It is not owed. And once you've lost it, it takes a long, long time to get it back if you ever can.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's so clear.
Well, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, but I think RFK Jr. was very adamant about it when he had his opening public statement. He talked about the CDC has lost the faith of the American people.
That's right.
And the only way to get it back is to be openly transparent.
Absolutely
and
right.
As he said, say what we know, say what we don't know.
Yeah, just be honest about it. Just be clear, concise, and honest. And we know that all of those senators in that room are getting greased by Big Pharma. Bernie Sanders was put on the spot, asked about taking money from Big Pharma, which is not the first time that this has come up for Bernie Sanders. And he's like, well, everybody in this room is taking money from Big Pharma. Exactly. That's exactly right. You went out there and acted like the Caped Crusader, like you are above the fray, and you were just as guilty as any of them, as all of them. That's why the trust is eroded in the Senate and people that are making decisions for us as Americans and agencies like the CDC. And then when Bennett says this, when Senator Bennett says, you put those new people on the panel he was alluding to you're putting people on the panel that will give you the outcome that you want. And I'm thinking, every one of you have been on the panel. You've been on the take. You've taken their money and said exactly what they've wanted you to say every time. What is the difference? And I don't believe that RFK is doing that. But even if he is, what's the difference? You all are doing it.
Well, I looked at it as, if you're telling me that a lot of these senators, and as short as 4 years, some of them 24 years, when you're looking at it and you say, why have not one of you ever addressed this issue? And suddenly, when somebody does, you make him out to be some sort of demon.
Oh, God.
Like he's having to tuck his tail into his pants.
Right, exactly. And the other thing is, these are the same people that celebrated Rachel Levine. This is the same people that told you Rachel Levine was a credible person in the healthcare community, serving as Assistant Secretary for Health in the Public Health Service Commission Corps. This man who believes himself a woman dressed up in a admiral's uniform. Because that's what
so surreal, Tug.
And those people are telling you that don't listen to RFK because he's a quack. Are you kidding me? This dude dressed up as a woman wore an admiral's uniform. Maybe I wouldn't be so triggered by it if it wasn't an admiral's uniform, because people equated that with the Navy, and I'm like, no, hang on, no. But those are the same people that said, yep, listen to Rachel Levine, just fine. Everything that this person says is just fine. But RFK, nah, don't listen to him, man. He's crazy. Dude, if you supported Rachel Levine if you listened to Rachel Levine on anything, you can't tell me anything, because I don't believe you and I don't trust you.
Man, it is so funny that you bring it up in that regard, because even somebody like Levine, I kind of took it and put it on the back burner of my mind. Like, oh, okay, that was a bygone era. To think, like, we were under such assault by such craziness, and this is part of what's going on now, is trying to get crazy out of everywhere. I never even pondered in my mind, hey, this is the person who's trying to tell me what it's like to be healthy, yet they're mentally ill.
Yeah, right. Exactly, dude.
It just went along with everything they were doing.
It'd be like taking, I don't know, gym advice from a person that never goes to the gym. Here's how you're doing that wrong. You're doing your sit-ups wrong, or you're using that machine incorrectly. Well, how do you know? It's clear you never come in here. Get out of here. It's as simple as I can boil it down to. But, yeah, don't tell me RFK's a quack when you put Rachel Levine in charge of anything or as a spokesperson for anything health-related, and you nailed it. You can't put a crazy person in charge and tell me to listen to them. Get out of here, dude. I'll take RFK Jr. every day over any of those clowns.
Maybe it was just I've talked about it before. I needed a reckoning. And I don't believe I'm ever going to get it, all right? Like, I don't believe that we're ever going to have, coming out of the COVID era, some sort of reckoning where people go to jail or people have to deal with a damage to their careers. I just don't believe it's going to ever happen. But yesterday was so much fun to listen to.
It was, dude. I agree with you.
Because it was everything that I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was thrown in these people's faces.
That was when me and my buddy John that I work out with, when we were watching it on the monitors. He's got, just like 3 TVs on the wall in the little gym that he's got. And we're watching it there. And that's exactly, he and I went back and forth saying the exact same thing. Finally, somebody's saying it exactly the way I would have.
Yep.
They believe exactly what I believe. Finally, somebody in D.C. is representing me in the way I feel and my values.
Yeah.
It was glorious to see, man. It was amazing.
And to have all the data that he threw out. And so, like, for instance, he brought up autism in young black men.
That's right, yep.
And flat out was like, here, let me tell you about how corrupt this is. You have a 260% chance of being autistic based on this scenario if you're a young black male. And that information was never shared with the public.
And that happened here. Fulton County is where they did that, where they did those research projects, those studies on those children. And we live here and never heard them.
And he flat out threw that out there, and I went, oh, he brought it today.
Bam, he was prepared for this. God, I love the guy, man. The more I hear from the people, the disruptors that Trump has put into place, love Hegseth, love RFK, love Scott Bessent. I don't know that many people fall in love with cabinet members. It's just not, usually you kind of know who they are. Maybe you know who they are. Dude, we know who all of them are because they're so disruptive. And the machine hates them so badly. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, Janelle King, host of the Janelle King Show that you can hear every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays on Extra 106.3. Her podcast this weekend, her show that you're going to hear, is another one that cuts through. The title of it, White Libs, or White Liberals, I should give you the full title, White Liberals and Black Gatekeepers. She is going to touch some nerves this weekend on Extra. We'll talk to her about it next.
Get connected to Extra 106.3 on all your favorite apps. Then download ours and stream the station across Georgia. We're live online at extra1063.com. Stream live video from the studios on YouTube. And of course, Kimmer, Bortz, and your favorite Extra shows in crystal clear digital on the Extra 106.3 app.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garage.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Pete Davis here. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And the best part, you can play right now here in Georgia. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can start with as little as $1. I play too. This season, I'm looking at Michael Penix Jr. to go higher on touchdown projections and Drake London to go higher on receiving yards. It's simple, it's fun, and it keeps me locked into every play. Download the app today and sign up with promo code 1063 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1063. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, and you can be next. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Georgia. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Fox Country.
I'm Michelle Polino. Post Malone just made his fashion debut in Paris. The 30-year-old rapper born Austin Richard Post unveiled his new label, Austin Post, on September 1st. His first collection, Season 1 at First Light, blends Dallas Western style with Southwest Ranch influences. The line draws from Post's Texas roots and his time in Utah, mixing boots, denim turquoise, and Americana.
Did you kiss her like you...
Riley Green has released the deluxe version of his third album, Don't Mind If I Do. Among the 6 brand new songs is a standout collaboration with country music legend Willie Nelson on One to Willie. The album also includes Make It Rain and Cowboy as It Gets featuring Randy Houser. Green continues his Damn Country music tour, which picks up again in October in Atlanta, Georgia, with dates running through November, and wraps up the year with 2 nights at the Theater at Resorts World, Las Vegas, December 12th and 13th. That's Fox Country on Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Friday, September 5th. A vigil was held Thursday night for victims of the shooting at Appalachian High School 1 year ago. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed, 9 others were injured. The 14-year-old alleged shooter and his father were both arrested. The father's trial, originally scheduled for next week, was reset for February of next year, earlier this week. Cobb Fire officials are investigating what caused a garbage truck to lose control and crash into the front of a Smyrna home, causing the home to catch fire. 2 people in the home were unharmed. One of the workers on the garbage truck was hospitalized. Neighbors said the fire spread unusually fast. And Georgia Tech received the largest donation in the school's history. Alumnus John Durstein gave $100 million to the George Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering. The Woodruff School has one of the largest and most influential mechanical and nuclear engineering programs in the country, with more than 3,000 students and 110 faculty members. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s. We'll have some scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
We're fortunate to talk to a lot of people on this show, but nobody I'd rather talk to than Janelle King, who does the Janelle King Show weekends here on Extra 106.3. You can listen to her show at 4 o'clock on Saturdays and 9 a.m. on Sundays. If
You also say this to me privately, by the way.
Well, yes. I mean, that's, of course. Dude, it's the truth, man. There's nobody cooler than Janelle King, and Janelle joins the show right now. Janelle, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I am doing good. And look, the feeling is mutual. Okay, I love talking to you guys.
Well, you're very sweet. Let me tell you, Los, I asked her, when I asked her to come on to talk about her upcoming podcast that you can hear this weekend, and then in podcast form, she drops every Tuesday. I asked her, I was like, do you want to come on tomorrow, maybe 7:25 or 8:25? Do you have either one of those available? She said, well, it had to be 8:25. I'm cooking breakfast at 7:25.
Awesome.
Like, that's my girl right there. So I got important things to do, like cooking breakfast meal.
Make sure the family eats, right?
Yeah.
The family has to eat.
That's right. Absolutely. And my favorite meal of the day is breakfast, so I completely understood. But I wanted to get you in here to talk about the episode that you're going to air this weekend on Extra. It is called White Liberals and Black Gatekeepers. And there is so many layers to this onion, Janelle, and we've talked about it so many times. But I wanted people to hear from you. That way they can tune in on Saturday or on Sunday for the encore presentation to hear about this podcast. Go into the details of what you're going to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's something that's happening predominantly in the minority space, right, where you have a lot of particularly black Democrats that are becoming black conservatives. And the reason why is because information is starting to leak out. Things are becoming readily available. There's a clip in my show where I share a little bit of an interview with Chad O. Jackson, who is a filmmaker, and he's creating this documentary about MLK and communism and the connection there. Now, when the MLK files were released, we got a lot of good information. A lot of people are not talking about it. But I share a little bit about that. I talk about this nuance that we kind of grew up on, where there was this idea that Malcolm X was the leader of violence and that MLK was nonviolent. But for some reason, when you go on and you start looking, you go back and you start looking at this time period, Malcolm X, there wasn't any violent instances when he would go to speak or anything. The only violence we saw with Malcolm X was when he was murdered. But then with MLK, it felt like everywhere they went, they were either beaten or something happened. And so when you start really digging deep into stuff and you look at information that has always been available, you start putting pieces together and you realize that there's something happening here. And at the core of all of it, you find these white liberals that are progressive and that are, really driving a certain message. And then on the other hand, you have these black gatekeepers, the black people who don't live in these communities. However, they may have come from these communities, but they act as if they're some type of special being that's able to survive these harsh, realities, but succeed, but no one else can. And the common denominator is communism. And so there's just this world that's opening up to people, and black people are no longer afraid to talk about it. But we've got to stop deifying these individuals who are sinners like all of us, and who happen to maybe possibly walk in a right intention at some point. But then when you get to the root of it, it's what was the benefit? What was the outcome? And so I go into it. And what really caused me to go in this direction was an interview with Stephen Miller. He's with the Trump administration, and he was speaking about the crime in D.C. and bringing in the National Guard. And he said, you know what, I'm going to basically call it what it is. He's like, these are white, hippie, elderly women that are protesting against bringing in the National Guard in communities that they don't live in, that they don't go to school in. And you'll hear the clip. I put it in the podcast. But he calls it out, too. And so it went from me discussing this really difficult conversation around white liberals and how they are still the ones driving racism to this day. And then I said, I can't talk about white liberals without talking about the black gatekeepers that help to push them as well. And so we go in, and I'm really happy to finally kind of get it off my chest.
Janelle King is our guest right here on the Morning Extra, and I'll tell you, Janelle, I am a super nerd, I love archaeology. I'm a total nerd about archaeology. And what happens is, within that field, you have a lot of people that have made it into, they're an expert in this particular subject. And so what they do is they block out everyone else and do not allow them to have an opinion on this. I think the big thing is, as you're pointing out, the proliferation of information allows you to get past what your pastor says, what your boss says, what the talking head says, so that you're able to get that information and start having a discussion so that the gatekeepers no longer have that power.
Exactly. And let's look at our gatekeepers of today. You have Jamal Bryant, you have the Stacey Abrams, the Roland Martins, the Al Sharpton. All of these people are raising their kids. They are making money. They're all millionaires and successful, and they have all the fame and all these other things. And what is the message that they're pushing? The message is that those who are in low-income communities somehow can't achieve what I've been able to achieve. That's the danger in what they're doing. And then they're sending this message out, not just to the black community, but to these white progressives that have this bleeding heart, which I really go in on, which is the spirit of white guilt, where we have white people who feel like they somehow have to carry the weight of what white people Christmas past has done, instead of living in the reality of where we are today. Your actions and your behavior of today is what matters. But carrying that white guilt, in my opinion, is not compassionate. It kind of leaks into this savior complex, which I also touch on, and this mindset that it's up to you to go save the poor black people from themselves. What kind of mess is that? So I'm really just hitting these things head on, and I'm hoping that it will free some people so that they can now have these discussions within their family, because as I always say, my show is discussing kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but absolutely necessary to have a strong republic.
Janelle King is our guest on the Morning Extra. Fearless. An absolutely fearless woman when it comes to discussing things that are taboo, things that you're not supposed to talk about, things that are not acceptable in polite society. And the reason that we're trending, or have been for a long time trending in the wrong direction, is because nobody was willing to talk about the tough issues, Janelle. And that's why this podcast is so important. That's why this episode is so important. But I love what you said about the savior syndrome that these white liberal women in suburbs, or the baby boomers, they all seem to have that same I know better. I'm sorry, you don't know well enough. You're going to have to lean on me for this one. I'm going to save us all. I'm going to be the savior. I don't need you to be the savior. I got one savior, and he's written about in the good book. I don't need another.
Right. And, I also think that it's kind of rooted in a guilt conscience at some point, right? Because when you have an individual who may have been raised by people who did look down on other races or look down on other people, right?
Yeah, of
then
course.
You have this little thing in your mind that you may have never acted on, but you feel the guilt of carrying it. And it's like, I want to conscience cleanse myself. But the point is, that's why, like you said, we have a savior. You're supposed to let God cleanse your conscience. We are all sinners saved by grace. So that includes every thought and every decision and everything we've done that may have been less than what we should have been doing. We have to lean in to that forgiveness. And as a people, we have to give grace. As black gatekeepers, we don't give, a lot of the black gatekeepers, they don't give grace to white people as a whole. It's like, I now have to beat you over the head. And when is enough enough? And and I talk about the danger of pushing reparations. I talk about how school choice. I talk about all these different things and how you have these black people who carry this feeling of anger and frustration from something that they thought happened to their ancestor. And I put emphasis on thought, because in a lot of cases, what we've seen, the worst and the worst of our history, was not widespread. So we really don't know what our ancestors went through. Some people may not have even had enslaved ancestors. Like Blair Underwood, he swore he had all these enslaved ancestors to find out that his situation was totally different. That the slave owners actually left land to the people they had enslaved, and it sent them on a trajectory where they now have a successful bloodline. So if you really look at it, there's so many little nuances around our history, and it's impossible to fully know what happened, which is why we have to get out of the past and live in the present. And our Jewish brothers and sisters have shown us what living in the present will do, even though you don't forget what your people have gone through. But you can't live in the past.
Janelle King is our awesome guest right here on Extra 1063. Janelle, I want to bring this up because largely minority communities have just dealt with crime and poverty, and here's what's happened. And I think what we've seen over the last several weeks in D.C. is when the government gets involved and makes it a priority, things can change. And I think that's really been an enlightening moment where you have a lot of minority communities across the country that are putting their hand up and saying, President Trump, please come do this in my area. Why do my current people that have been ruling my area not allow me to be safe and allow me to be fruitful in this way? I think that's another one of those moments where it's very enlightening to people that it's really about priorities.
It is. And you know what? As a Federalist, and it's so funny because Kelvin and I just started this documentary about federalism in America, which we're so excited about. But as a Federalist today, the way I see it is that people in our community, we don't want to have to ask the federal government to come in and make our neighborhood safe.
Yep.
Not when we have our own communities, not when we have been raised to love thy neighbor and be, connected with other families, not when you have a police department. This is sad for the Black community that has gotten to a point where we've elected time and time again Black people that's supposed to understand our concerns, that's supposed to understand our needs on a unique level, because that's how they sell it, right? That you have to look like me to understand me. So then they take you up on your offer, they elect you, put you over these particular responsibilities, and then you fail us. And instead of you cleaning it up, we now have to bring in the federal government. And then not only do we have to now ask the federal government to come in and help us, we got to fight you so that you would stop blocking them from helping us. This is absolute insanity. As Kelvin said, it's like brain damage. It's like these people are brain damaged. Why do you think this makes sense? It's not fair. It's just not fair. And I hate that we've gotten to this point. But you're right. You listen to so many people that actually live in these communities, and they're like, I hate it, but I'm grateful that something's happening.
Yes. Janelle King on Extra 1063. Make sure you listen to her podcast. It comes out on Tuesdays. You get it early on Extra 1063. You can listen to it tomorrow at 4 or Sunday at 9 a.m. It is called White Liberals and Black Gatekeepers. Janelle, it's always a pleasure to have you. Got to get you in studio one day very, very soon, because anytime we're fortunate enough to be able to talk to you and you share wisdom that no one else is brave enough to talk about, it's good for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And thank you for what y'all are doing. We look forward to hanging out with you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We got to get that husband of yours elected, too.
That's right. That's another guy. We didn't get a chance to get into that. Yeah. But that's the truth, man. We got that. He is somebody that could do so much good for the state of Georgia. And as you learned in your time on the state election board, we got big problems here in the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, we do. We do. And I cannot wait to vote for Kelvin. And we do have something special coming up soon. So you'll be able to hear about that in a little bit. But, yeah, please vote for Kelvin King, Secretary of State.
There you go. Janelle, thank you so much, and wish you nothing but the best. Says the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. The old heads in the Democrat Party. It seems like it's kind of the people, Los, that Janelle was just talking about. Sometimes they just don't get it. They have no idea how to win. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, September 5th. The NFL is back. The world champion Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys last night 24-20 despite a 1.5-hour rain and lightning delay on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers will kick off from Brazil. That game will kick off at 8 o'clock. For Major League Baseball, back at home as they host the Seattle Mariners in a weekend series. It'll be Chris Sale making the start tonight for the Braves. He'll be opposed by Logan Gilbert. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I'm looking for a reliable vehicle, something for the family, but also for my daughter who's going to be driving soon. Why should I call you?
The main thing is you get to see it's a full transparency sale. What I like to do is show you the whole gamut, show you everything that's out there and everything that's available. I can get any make, any year, any model.
Financing. If I need to use it, what can you offer?
We have some of the best banks available, and we got rates starting at 4.99 from a 23 model and above. It could be a 14 model. We still have banks that will do all the financing for you at good rates in their primary banks. If you have credit issues, we still have banks that can accommodate those issues as well.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guests are FBI Special Agent in Charge Paul Brown and FBI Special Agent Charles Orgbon Jr. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Of all the radio ads I've ever done, I only advertised one thing that I think saved my life. My CPAP machine, sleep apnea. And I found the best CPAP dealer out there ever, Roddy, at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. CPAPsETC.com. Everything you need, all the supplies, shipped anywhere at a price that often beats insurance. CPAPsETC.com. Go take a peek now.
Calling all contractors. This is Devin Stovall, Stovall & Company, and we're here for you. We're a third-generation, family-owned and operated company for 75 years and just opened our 11th location in Canton on 9500 Union Hill Road. We're proud to provide your wholesale irrigation, nursery, and landscape supply needs. How do you envision your dream outdoor space for you or your customers? We're here to fulfill them all. We all take pride in special requests and shipping right to your job site. Here at Stovall, we have it all. Check us out at StovallINC.com.
Yes, the name says windows, but Peach State has been building and restoring Georgia's finest decks for decades. The same quality and attention to detail. When fall hits Georgia, the deck part of the heart of the home. Game day, cookouts, and family dinners, cool evenings under the stars. Here's a problem. Most decks in Atlanta were not built to today's safety and code standards. One bad board, 1 weak railing, suddenly your Saturday night turns into an emergency room visit. Don't risk it. Call the experts at Kimmer Trust, who've known 25 years. Peach State. Jeff and his team give you a free deck inspection. This is not a sales pitch, an honest safety check from foundation to finish. Need more than a repair? Peach State can build the perfect upgrade. Classic wood, modern composite, or a custom design. 0% financing, no payments till the job is done. Safety and style, both affordable. Don't wait. Here's the number, 770-485-8011, or visit peachstatewindows.com today. Trusted by families, trusted by the Kimmer, trusted for decks that last. peachstatewindows.com.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
I remember people saying, oh, that old head don't know what's going on. That old head don't know the right music. That old head doesn't know who they should be cheering for. They don't know ball. Isn't that that's kind of the ultimate slight, isn't it, Los, when you call somebody an old head?
Yeah, old head kind of like degrades them a little bit. Like they kind of know what they're talking about, but they don't really know what they're talking about, right?
They're living in the past. That's what it feels like, that they're just living in the past. But the Democrats, I feel like that's where they are living these days. In the past, in their glory days when they controlled everything, they operated everything, they controlled culture, they controlled everything. There was nothing in popular culture they didn't have their fingerprints on. There was nothing in the federal government they didn't have their fingerprints on. They controlled everything. Now these old heads are trying to dust off the old playbook, and it don't work like it used to.
Well, that's what they're treating David Axelrod as. And David Axelrod, who basically engineered the Obama run to the presidency back in 2008. Him and Rahm Emanuel were the two primary guys. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's the messaging. And no matter what you think about it, the fact is it worked. I mean, it was hope and change. And it was this, as I've joked around about it, it was a bucket. Fill me with whatever you want me to be, and that's what I'm going to be. And that's what it was. I'm not going to tell you a lot about myself. You just tell me about your hopes and your dreams.
With good reason, I don't tell you about myself.
That's right. Put it in the bucket, and then it's going to work. And so David Axelrod was a big part of doing that. Well, David Axelrod is one of those guys out there these days that is sitting there and complaining to the rest of the Democrat Party, how are you continuously ending up on, he didn't even consider it 80-20. He's like, these are 90-10 issues when it comes to crime. How do you keep arguing on the 10% issue? And I think I've kind of all got this figured out. Democrat intelligentsia to this day, the way it works now is this. You don't win by arguing easy issues. You win by getting your side compliant with crazy.
Okay. Well,
okay, ponder that.
Yeah, it's the truth, because everything they talk about, everything they jump on is crazy with a bunch of layers.
I mean, if I was to try, like Tug, if you and I were to have a discussion and I was to try and convince you to be in my cult, if I was to say, hey, we watch football on the weekend, you're like, oh, that sounds great.
Let's go.
You know what? We got bourbon all the time.
Yes, sir. Count me in.
Man, that's really cool. All right, we each cut off our fingers.
Wait, hang on. You mean
no? I got to get you to go along with it. It's like it's how much do I have to ramp it up to the point where yes, where it's a 90-10 issue where you go, oh, I don't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that the way the Democrats are operating as of now is that they intentionally look to argue the 10% issue so that they can feel like they're the enlightened class.
Yeah, they're the cultural elite, if you will. We know better. Of course, we know better, and we're so smart.
I'm so smart, I can be on the 10%.
Do you know how? Yeah, that's exactly right. Because they always take the opposite side, because the common folk take the 90% side. We're better than the common folk. We know more. Look, have you not seen all the degrees on my wall? Do you not know what I've done in the past to get all this brain power that I have? Come on. I am in charge of everything. I know better than you. But you know what's funny? Because we talked about this all this week, how Muriel Bowser is the only one on the Democrat side that gets it. She was like, this is going to benefit me politically by cleaning up the city. It's not Donald Trump that's going to get all the credit. She's going to get credit, Los.
Yeah, she's going to be somebody who, now, was she compliant with it when it started? No.
But she figured it out quick.
But she saw the value in it.
She saw the polling numbers go through the roof. She saw crime go through the floor. Carjackings alone down 90%. Who's going to be there and push back, except Brandon Johnson in Chicago? Who's pushing back against stopping carjackings?
She went with a 90% issue.
It's so easy. Dude,
it's not hard.
You said it, or I think it was Monday, when you're like, just tell them you're going to do something. You don't actually have to do it. At least argue the side that makes sense.
I've said this for now a number of months. I'm going to take every single one of Donald. If you're paying me the $7 million to be the consultant for the Democrat Party, I'm taking every single one of the significant and good issues that Donald Trump brings up. I'm going to steal them. I'm going to say I'm making them better, and then I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
So.
And that's what Muriel Bowser's doing. She's not going to do anything either.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Democrat, all I would do is say, you know what, we're going to ship out 20 million people under Trump. No. I'm going to ship out 45 million people. Now, am I going to do it? No, of course not. But I'm going to take everything that's popular about him, and I'm going to amp it up onto steroids.
And that's what Muriel Bowser learned. She figured it out quickly that Donald Trump had made the right move, and I'm going to glom onto it. And then it's funny because I think her district attorney is actually suing the Trump administration for bringing in the National Guard. So she's like playing both sides against the middle. She's taking both sides, but she's not doing it. She's not saying it out loud. She's out loud going, yes, this is exactly right. While all the while, on the other side, she's still suing Trump, trying to get at Trump. She still hates Trump, but she's smart enough politically to actually let this play out and then vocally support it, even though behind the scenes not doing it at all.
Again, does it help you? Is it working out? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's the only one that gets it. And look,
lean into it.
It's filthy. It's dirty. It's politics at its worst. But she's winning, and that doesn't make me like her. That doesn't make me support her. Doesn't make me even support the ideas. But I know what she's doing, and she's smart enough to leave all these other Democrats in their dust. She is not acting like the old heads.
No, not at all. And again, David Axelrod is the one who's trying to tell you, do this more.
Yeah.
How does this not make sense?
Yeah.
Do this more. And yet, you have this Democrat intelligentsia that, I guess for lack of a better term, their counterculture is let's do stuff that's not going to help us.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. What do you think? Oh, yeah, great idea, man. Go ahead.
But look how well I do it.
Yeah, dude, I mean, look, I've lost a big toe and everything. It's great. I have the best shot of anybody in this room. I blew off my own toe. Yeah, none of that makes sense. But, dude, the Democrats have dismissed everybody. That's why they hate Bill Maher all of a sudden, because he's talking about the crime issues that the Democrat Party is defending. He's talking about all the common sense stuff that a classical liberal would, that we actually agree on. Now, how we get there in many cases, we disagree. But he's another that speaks a little bit of truth, a little bit of common sense, and he's being excommunicated essentially because of it.
I'm so curious, and we've got I know we got Dr. Rich McCormick coming up next hour. I'm curious who he would see as like other sensible Democrats.
Yeah.
So, privately and publicly, because that's different. Muriel Bowser coming out publicly, you suddenly go, oh, that's sensible. But you don't get that on a regular basis right now.
No, you do not. I can't think of anybody, right? Not anybody in the actual Democrat Party that is a representative or a senator or a governor. None of them talk sensible.
And we're told that, there are others that completely agree with this stuff. They just don't do it publicly.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, let's, why not?
Yeah.
It's popular.
I know.
It should be.
It's absolutely insane that they don't. Yesterday, RFK reminded us just how much the Democrats lied to us. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, I know y'all are on the edge of your seats right now, wanting to hear my opinion on how Trump is doing so far. And even if you're not waiting to hear my opinion, you're going to hear it anyway. By and large, like most decent Americans, I'm really happy with what he's doing. The Democrats said, we need comprehensive immigration reform bills to close the border. He did it in 2 days. I wonder how many lives he's saved by shutting the borders and keeping more criminal aliens out. The tariffs, probably a good idea. Other presidents have used them. international relations. Hey, look, he got most of Europe paying their share of the NATO funding, but why can't he get tougher on Vladimir Putin? That man is a megalomaniac, and he's going to cost millions of lives. Trump has the power to shut off their oil revenue completely. Do it. Sending the National Guard to get a hold of crime in Washington, D.C., great move. Lives saved. Easy move because D.C. is a federal enclave, giving Trump really supreme command. Sending troops to other cities? Well, there is something called the Posse Comitatus Act. Federal law says you can't send U.S. troops to do policing in American cities without specific authorization. A bit of a problem there. But here's something that really bothers me. Day before yesterday, he says, I'm thinking about stripping Rosie O'Donnell of her citizenship. Number one, who gives a damn? Number two, he knows he can't do it. And number three, why does he even go there? It takes away from the seriousness of the things he's trying to accomplish when he goes after that pathetic sort of female. Leave her alone. Let her wallow in her own misery. And the same goes for a lot of the other people that he picks on. All in all, good job, and so glad the hyena is not in the White House. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is House Call for Health. Mental health professionals say it's important for everyone to feel like they have a solid support network. But in a world where loneliness has been called an epidemic, it can be hard for many people to feel connected. In this back-to-school season, college students may be especially impacted by feelings of isolation. One university is sharing insights into an ongoing program hoping to bridge the gaps. In a bid to help build understanding and connection, researchers at Arizona State University started the All Ears Friendship Bench program. Friendship benches are staffed by older adult volunteers. Students can come and talk to them, the volunteers offering a safe space for students to feel seen and heard, while also passing along their wisdom and life experiences. The goal is to help create opportunities for different generations to connect. About 1 in 3 adults reporting feeling lonely, according to the CDC. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Another worse than expected jobs report. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, showing there wasn't much hiring last month. Just 22,000 jobs created.
Unemployment rate coming in as expected, 4.3%. So that would be higher than July's 4.2%.
Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti also has changes made to prior months' hiring.
June, it was revised down by 27,000, getting you to negative 13,000. And the change for July up by 6,000, getting you to 79,000.
Well, those are much lower revisions than we got in the July jobs report that cut hiring by about 500,000 jobs for May and June, prompting President Trump to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He has not reacted yet to this morning's update. Later today, we'll get another Trump executive order that'll make the Defense Department war again, rebranding it to a name it used to be called.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth will also be referred to as Secretary of War, according to the White House. The order instructs Hegseth to propose both legislative and executive actions to make the name change permanent, one of several initiatives the Trump administration is taking as part of what it calls its Warrior Ethos campaign. Public-facing websites and signage at the Pentagon will also reflect the name change.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The Trump D.C. crime crackdown will continue. The National Guard deployment will be extended through November. The president says it's made Washington virtually crime-free, and he's planning to send troops to other cities like Chicago. Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker plans to file a lawsuit when that happens.
We heard that would begin early on Saturday morning.
Russia's leaders reacting to a plan by 26 European countries to send troops to Ukraine after the war with Russia ends as a force to guarantee security.
Vladimir Putin issued a warning for those nations to keep troops out of Ukraine before the war is over. During a panel at the Eastern Economic Forum, Putin said, quote, "If any troops appear there, especially now while fighting is ongoing, we assume that they will be legitimate targets."
That's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
The news and talk I can trust. Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Come on. A little Ram Jam to get you started. Dude, if this song don't make you stand up and sing aloud, I don't know what will. It's got the sickest guitar riff ever. It's the most recognizable in the world. And then the lyrics are so simple, and they rhyme, and they're good, and they're fun to play.
They rhyme.
Come on, dude. These are not the most genius lyrics you've ever heard. I mean, at least I've done. I hit it a little early. I thought I'd hit the post and missed it by about 4 seconds.
Listen. I don't know if you can keep your FM credentials now.
I know, especially with this one. Good Lord. Yeah, these are not the most brilliant lyrics I've ever heard.
No, but it's fun.
It is so much fun. No, I love the song, but it's not. I mean, it's not Sweet Child of Mine when you break down the lyrics of Sweet Child of Mine, which is a brilliantly written song. You know, this one doesn't compare, but it's equally as popular because it's so simple and easy and fun.
Don't you have like a few drinks in you, and all you do is just go bam-a-lam
every time,
bam-a-lam,
for no reason at all?
Yeah,
dude. Sometimes I'll just say it like as an answer to something. Like my wife would be like, "Hey, you want to go to dinner?" Bam-a-lam, and she knows that means yes. You know, right, or it could mean no. It could mean anything.
So I give you the challenge then. At some point, you need to wander over near her, record it on your phone, and no matter what she says to you, all you respond back with is bam-a-lam.
Okay, I'll do that. And she's going to be like...
And just see where it goes.
Because I've done this before, it's probably going to be like, okay, will you quit and tell me what you actually mean?
Have you ever, like, because, I mean, we used to challenge each other back when I was on another radio show, another radio station, and you know, kind of goofing around with each other. But we would always try and say, all right, well, why don't you send this to your wife? Let's see how they respond. The best one was sending the eggplant. Just to see what they would say. Nature. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Just to see what they would say. And most of the time it would come back of like, stop, you're gross.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is going to be the most obvious. Women, They're very different. You know, like men, like we laugh about sexual stuff all the time. It makes us laugh. I don't know why. It's just built in. It's human nature, whatever. And women, they don't see the sense of humor. They don't have the same sense of humor that we do, and usually roll their eyes and just say, "Yeah, you're gross." So that makes perfect sense to me. But the Bam-a-lam move is good, man. Bam-a-lam, whoop, dude, so good.
Oh, can I give you another piece of good information?
I love it. Is it better? Is it going to top today as the day that Waffle House opened?
No,
Okay,
definitely not.
well,
I mean, that's the top.
Okay.
Well, so I just want to let you know, and I saw this on Twitter from like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Lotto and Ice Spice have ended their feud.
Who? Who's Ice Spice?
You don't know who Ice Spice is?
Ice Spice? No, I don't think so.
This is where the teenage daughters are really helping
I just
Los
looked her
out.
up. So rapper, and who was she in the fight with?
Lotto.
No, I don't know who Lotto is either.
Lotto.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Lotto.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Anyway, they've ended. their
good.
feud.
Well, look, that's important. Lotto.
Yeah, like they now have collabed.
Lotto
that means a collaboration, but I said a collab.
Yeah, I recognize that one. I just don't know who these people
I speak 14-year-old.
Yeah, apparently so. And I'm seeing that Lotto, how do you say it? Lotto is from Atlanta. Well,
which is why I'm covering this.
Okay, yeah, well, it's important.
This is so important.
Yes. Now, is Ice Spice from Atlanta too?
No.
Okay, well.
But she has
I'm taking
been.
the side of Lotto anyway.
She has been in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, so.
You know what? Okay, I think I do. Okay, I think I do know who that is, but I didn't know that she was a rapper.
Yeah.
Dude, I have lost touch with. I can't keep up with pop music anymore.
I mean, if it
moves too
isn't
fast.
Darius Rucker, you're not keeping track of this stuff.
Yeah, Darius.
Like every now and then, you'll give me a Brooks and Dunn update, or you'll tell me about some of the stuff that's going on when it comes to like who's singing College Game Day.
Yeah, that stuff I know because I work country radio too. So I keep up. I'm dialed into. I can't keep up with how fast pop music moves anymore. Like
I mean, you told me that Lainey Wilson had a honky tonk, and I didn't know that.
She does. Yeah, absolutely, she does. Yeah, I want to be able to keep up, but I can't. It moves at the speed of TikTok, and I don't move that way anymore. Dude, you're just as likely to have a hit song if you put it on TikTok as you are on just any radio station. It's so splintered. And country music's that way too. I just happen to work in that format, so I'm able to keep a little bit of a grip on it. But otherwise, man, it moves so stinking fast. And but it's still fun, and I love the fact that your daughters are into music and so down with all this stuff. It's so great.
Well, this was something that I heard, and I'd never really heard it before because I try and keep up with the industry, but it changes so constantly.
Totally, dude.
When Jelly Roll made the point about how he had 9 million subscribers on YouTube, he flat out was telling the record industry, I don't need you.
And he doesn't.
And so, as he puts it, he has the best deal in Nashville because he doesn't need them.
Yeah, he doesn't. And my buddy is his rep in Nashville. And, that dude is the most jovial. He actually, get this, because his story is so relatable to so many people, he's stopped doing meet and greets. Like, country is huge for meet and greets. Like, you can go meet the artist before or after a show, depending on how the meet and greet lays out. Jelly Roll has stopped doing those because so many people want to come and tell him how his story has impacted them, music has impacted. It's like one after another, another, after another. And he was like, it is so heavy sometimes that it changes, my mood for the day, and I can't go out and entertain the way I want to. He's put a stop to it completely. Not that he doesn't interact with his fans. He just doesn't do that one mechanism that's huge in country music anymore because it just brings him so down.
Well, that's why you left it. I mean, people were always coming to Tug and telling about the influence that Tug has had.
No
and Tug
way.
was like, it's just too much.
No way.
It's too much. I can't handle this anymore.
Nobody has ever one time said that to me.
Tug was just sad all the time. He's like, man, I'm bearing the weight of this whole thing,
dude. But it is, man. I understand why Jelly, dude. By the end of the week. Sometimes even at the end of the week here, when we've talked about so much heavy stuff, I'm just like, man, I'm ready to take a break. I'm ready to exhale a little bit. And like this weekend, me and my cousin Nick, I told you cousin Nick's coming in town, going to Athens for the first time. Dude, I hope to not think about politics at all day Saturday. Just completely just submerge myself into Georgia football and showing my cousin Nick a good time. That's what I want to do.
By the way, have we established... So is it tailgate early and then bars after? Like what do we have going on?
We've yet to find a tailgate. We've yet to find one. We'll find one. We just not. It's not. Yesterday was so chaotic and crazy for me. Didn't have time to nail that down. But hopefully I will today. And then yes, at least. A couple of
like
bars.
Where are our listeners? Like our listeners typically have come by this tailgate.
Do you think
do it?
It's because it's Austin P, man. But
still, it's still Saturday in Athens with decent weather. I'm sure there's a listener that wouldn't mind. Now, again, I'm not saying that you have to drink all their bourbon, but what I'm saying is if there's a place that you and your cousin, and this is not the cousin who's a thieving one.
No, that's Curtis.
Right. This is Nick. Nick doesn't steal rims.
Nick runs a very successful vending business. He started when he was 18, and he's still running it today down in Orlando.
Yeah, Nick has no interest in your rims or stealing your EpiPen or anything else like that. So, I mean, you could host these people without a problem.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything. Yeah. Now, Curtis wouldn't steal it while he was at your tailgate because he'd be appreciative. But after it was over, watch out. You don't know. It depends on what he needs or who needs something, who needs what. Then things could get sideways. But, yeah, we're looking so for. Nick has emailed me and texted me probably 8 times this morning already. You know, just like a kid before Christmas because he's never been to Athens. And every time I tell somebody this, they're like, wait, he's a lifelong Georgia fan, never been to Athens? And yes, the answer is yes. It's just never worked out. Can I tell you what happened, Los?
Please.
I had bought tickets from an acquaintance who had season tickets 2 years ago to take Nick to the Georgia-Tennessee game. It was that year, I think 2 years ago when they were ranked number 1 coming in. It was going to be the biggest game ever. So the dude that I bought tickets from early in the week, Tuesday came. I'd already paid him. Tuesday came, no tickets. Wednesday came, no tickets. Thursday came, no tickets. Friday, I'm texting. I'm like, dude, what is going on? He was like, no worries. Have them to you in the morning. Nick's driving up from Orlando, gets to my house. The dude that I bought tickets from said, sorry, man, just didn't come through. He was like, I'll send you money back.
Whoa.
It was awful. I felt like the biggest jerk in the world. Now that friend...
Well, you got to go to Athens at that point and scalp it.
Yeah, right? And
that's what you have to do if you've got sweet, clean Nick with you.
Yeah, so anyway, it was just the worst of the worst. Let me tell you, that acquaintance is now in jail for a Ponzi scheme with Georgia football tickets. I'm not kidding, dude. Like, it was like a couple $1 million Ponzi scheme, all based on Georgia football tickets.
Yeah, I think I read a little bit of something about this.
That's who I bought. And I'd bought tickets from him before a few times and never had any issue. And this time it didn't go as well as we had hoped. And now in Louisiana, that man is in jail for running a ticket Ponzi scheme.
At least this time around, Nick and you are going to be squared away.
I have the tickets on my phone already.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to head to Athens just to have a good time.
Dude, come on.
But
do you know how? Let's see if we'll scalp some more tickets. It'd be great.
But I listen. I've got like responsibilities around here. I know. I really don't.
No, dude.
I don't know how I'll make it home. I have no idea.
Dude, we got a hotel. You crash. It'd be great. I'm telling you, dude. If you want to go, that would be amazing.
I'm just telling you, somebody would pass on. Like you're like
dude,
Nick.
What a way to
Nick
go
would
out.
be like we went so hard that I died.
What a way to go out, though. I mean, that would be. I mean,
how's Nick's heart? Because
it's good. It's real good.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's exceptional.
We'll put that to the test.
Yeah, let me tell you.
I'd like to set the scene if I could. After the game, it's been a long day. You're both back at the hotel. You're still at the bars, and Tug, what are you going to say to Los? You know, when you're looking at him and you got a question for him over at the bar, you just say, "Hey, Los, what about that fourth down?"
Yeah. Whoa! That's exactly right. That's right.
That was a hell of a touchdown.
That's perfect.
Do you want another drink?
Yes, absolutely. Dude, are you about to throw up? Dude, I'm telling you, if you can figure out a way to go, you have to come, dude. It'll be so much fun. And now, I mean, you just pass out in the bathroom. It'll be great.
It'll be awesome.
See? I'm telling you, it'll be perfect. I can't think of anything better. So you just ponder it, just think about it, and see if we can work something out. It'll be like good old days on steroids. It'll be like good old days on Lex Luger, Hulk Hogan style steroids. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, home exterior solutions since 1999.
Los, where are you going this weekend?
I'm going to. Hey, that's right, dude.
It's okay. I'm with Tug.
Yeah.
I'm with Tug. Everything's fine.
No. But let me tell you, they won't say Bam-a-lam after that. They'll be like, who? Get out of here. I don't know who that is. And if it's that dude that sounds like the hillbilly, I'm out.
My in-laws are getting in town on Monday. So, it's fine. Monday.
Perfect.
So I'm looking at this going, all right, I might have like a free window to do kind of whatever I want. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Let's see. I gotta consult Cozy.
Yeah, that's Cozy calendar.
My app to find out what I'm doing.
Yes, that's right. And we need to, if we need to hire Uber drivers or something, we'll figure that out. You know, whatever it takes. We'll get the kids where they need to go and get Los to Athens. It'll be, dude. This is what needs to happen. I'm just saying.
There's just a let's see. There's a hair appointment tomorrow.
That does not concern you.
And a volleyball practice from 1 to 3. Okay, we might have some options here.
I tell you, man, seems like it might be
might have an opportunity here.
You know how the light just the clouds part and the light shines through and it's almost like that's what I just heard.
I'm going to tell my wife. I'm just like, hey, listen, it's like running away to the circus. Like, I'm going with Tug.
That's right. Exactly. And she's already, I'm like pre-approved, dude. I'm like a credit card.
I know. I'm going to be like, here's what's happening. I'm going to get with Tug at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to Athens.
What do you think? Because that's the plan right there. Yeah, and Nick is coming up. He's going to be up late this afternoon, late into the evening, and he's going to crash over the house, and then we're going to get up early and try to be at Athens by 10 o'clock.
I will text you. And by the way, I might even, if I do decide to do this, I'm not committing to this yet.
All right, it's up to you, but no pressure.
But I will bring the Traeger tailgater, and I'm just saying, if we end up at any tailgate. That's going to be the clutch thing. Everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, you're amazing. I'm glad you brought this.
That's like the open sesame is what that is.
Yes, it is.
That thing just opens so many doors.
Everyone will be like, oh, my God, this is amazing. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you for participating. Thank you for attention to this matter.
That's right.
In all caps.
Attention to this matter.
Dude, it's so good. We could talk about RFK in this last couple minutes, or we can continue to talk about Georgia. It's totally up to you. But we do have Dr. Rich McCormick coming up. We can ask him. I mean, he's a doctor. I mean, he's a surgeon.
Yeah, no, we got to get into everything that went on yesterday with him, especially.
It seems so obvious the discussion, and to see how he feels like RFK did, to see how he feels like what the Democrats did and the weird hills that they died on. To be able to ask him a few things will be really enlightening. I believe we'll do that next on Extra 106.3. I think I said this, but if I don't think I finished it. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. When we continue, Dr. Rich McCormick, U.S. Representative from Georgia's 7th District, joins us on Extra.
If you love 106.3, then you'll love the all-new Extra 106.3 app. It's loaded with replays of your favorite shows like The Morning Extra and The Kimmer Show, podcasts from conservative voices across the South, and access to Extra's crystal clear live stream from anywhere in Georgia. Grab it now for Apple or Android.
I'm on the website now, southernexteriors.co, looking at their projects where they've built back decks, back porches, screened-in porches, because that's what me and my wife want for our house. We want that entertaining area on the back of the house, because we have a small deck on the back, and it's fine. When it's just her and I, and we're throwing some steaks on the grill or something, it's fine. But if you noticed, or maybe if you were listening on Monday after this long weekend that we had, I guess it was Tuesday, I talked about taking the TV from my living room and literally putting it on the edge of the grill, turning the grill around, putting the TV on it, and that was my redneck back deck patio, right? That was the place where me and my wife watched the Georgia game last weekend. We would like to upgrade that, not have to be complete rednecks, not have to be complete hillbillies. We would like to have an entertaining space on our house. So that's the next thing that we want to do. Southern Exteriors can do that for you too. Somebody else just recently did it in the neighborhood, and Southern made their home look so incredible. That's exactly what we want. Do you have that urge? Do you have that thing that you want done to make your home look and be the envy of the neighborhood? Maybe it's something on the back, or maybe it's painting it. Maybe it's a new roof. Maybe it's new gutters, new siding, or new windows or a new door. They can do all of that stuff too. They'll give you 10% off any job, no matter how big, or 12 months, 0% financing. You get them at southernexteriors.co. You can find them also on the phone, 8779 Southern.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly Magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, community businesses, and events, like the Superior Plumbing Presents North Georgia State Fair.
Hi, I'm Missy with the Superior Plumbing Presents North Georgia State Fair at Jim R. Miller Park, September 18th through the 28th. Enjoy the fun, the food, and amazing entertainment, including the Carriage Kia Grandstand Series. We're bringing back advanced pay one price ride tickets, plus free parking this year. Save money and enjoy a smoother experience. Visit NorthGeorgiaStateFair.com for daily deals and discover why we were voted Best Festival and Family Amusement 7 years in a row. That's NorthGeorgiaStateFair.com.
Friends, I'm getting my tickets. Are you? The North Georgia State Fair is more than an event. It's a tradition. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Hey, it's a Kimmer talking about Stovall.
Yeah, I just wanted to brag on Stovall. I went up there and actually got a quote on some of their material up there, and he gave me the quotes I wanted, but he said what would work best, they don't carry, and referred me to one of their competitors. That's how good they are. And sure enough, he was right. The material he was talking about that they don't carry, it's actually going to work best for me. So I've got that on the way. It all worked out well. Makes me want to go back and buy something from them now.
Folks, when it comes to landscaping supplies, start at Stovall. 11 locations around Atlanta. Online at StovallInc.com.
Having 4 kids in 4 years changed everything, especially our perspective on food.
We started paying closer attention to the things that mattered most, especially the food we were putting on our table.
We wanted better, safer, healthier. And when we couldn't find it, we took matters into our own hands. We started Good Ranchers.
We partner with local farms and ranches right here in the U.S., families who have been raising livestock the right way for generations. Hardworking men and women who care deeply about the land, their animals, and the quality of the food they produce.
We're proud to bring their legacy to your table. 100% American beef, chicken, pork, and wild-caught seafood.
And then we make it simple. We deliver it straight to your door.
Because we believe in making it easy for families like ours and yours to enjoy meat you can trust. Food that honors the American farmer. Food that brings people together.
Visit GoodRanchers.com and use code RANCH40 to get $40 off your first order. Plus, free meat for an entire year.
GoodRanchers.com. American meat delivered.
Pete Davis here. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And the best part, you can play right now here in Georgia. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can start with as little as $1. I play too. This season, I'm looking at Michael Penix Jr. to go higher on touchdown projections and Drake London to go higher on receiving yards. It's simple, it's fun, and it keeps me locked into every play. Download the app today and sign up with promo code 1063 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1063. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, and you can be next. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Georgia. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Friday, September 5th. A vigil was held Thursday night for victims of the shooting at Appalachian High School 1 year ago. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed, 9 others were injured. The 14-year-old alleged shooter and his father were both arrested. The father's trial, originally scheduled for next week, was reset for February of next year, earlier this week. Cobb Fire officials are investigating what caused a garbage truck to lose control and crash into the front of a Smyrna home, causing the home to catch fire. 2 people in the home were unharmed. One of the workers on the garbage truck was hospitalized. Neighbors said the fire spread unusually fast. And Georgia Tech received the largest donation in the school's history. Alumnus John Durstein gave $100 million to the George Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering. The Woodruff School has one of the largest and most influential mechanical and nuclear engineering programs in the country, with more than 3,000 students and 110 faculty members. Today's weather mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s. We'll have some scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10. We are joined by Dr. Rich McCormick. He represents Georgia's 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Dr. McCormick, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. So many things to dive into. There's obviously a lot of discussion about vaccines and the CDC, and we're going to get to some of that stuff because I want to get your valuable insight on it. But moving 10 F-35s down to Puerto Rico seems like a big deal to me. When I see that, I remember when they were moving some assets into the Persian Gulf and adding a second aircraft carrier, the Persian Gulf. That came, a few months before we blew up the nuclear facilities in Iran. We've already seen a little bit of an escalation down off the coast of Venezuela with blowing up the narco drug boat. And when I was in the Navy, we did drug ops down there aboard USS South Carolina. But this seems like a big deal to me. Is there something that folks listening right now should know? People in the state of Georgia should know about the movement that we've just seen.
Well, know that we're at war with the cartels. The gloves are off. They've been basically not punished for their actions, but that it's not the ultimate solution either, because as we ramp this up, we are funding a war against ourselves. We're the ones that pay for the drug cartels. America's funding is like Europe paying for Russia to invade Ukraine. It's the same thing. We're fighting a war against narcotics traffickers that we're funding. Now, let me just tell you the way that we're going to solve this in reality. We can destroy their bad guys. We can kill bad guys. Somebody else will take their spot, because when billions upon billions of dollars are at stake, somebody's going to step in this place and say, I want that easy money. Now, it's a dangerous life, but somebody's going to step up. And it's just you can cut off one head, 2 more are going to rep. They're going to fight for that next position, and you can have the consolidate. Anybody who's seen the movie, the series Narcos understands how this works. If you really want to get rid of this, think about how we solved the smoking problem in high schools. We tried to teach kids that cancer would kill them. They didn't believe it. We tried to teach kids that they'll overdose and die. 100,000 kids died a year from drug overdose. They didn't believe. We couldn't convince them that they're mortal, that they're going to be hurt. But if you teach kids that by buying cigarettes, you're supporting companies that are giving your grandparents cancer and making massive profit off it, they stop buying it. It ceased to be cool. If you teach kids from the time they're little kids that when you buy drugs, you're supporting rapists, murderers, people who overthrow governments, people who would slit your brother's throat for a dime, it will no longer be cool. It will no longer be about getting high. It will be about supporting evil people. When you get rid of the demand, you'll get rid of the problem. But until we get rid of the demand, we can fight all day long against these bad guys and feel good about what we do by killing bad people. It doesn't solve the problem.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra, and maybe that is the opportunity with Gen Z. My wife has done studies on them at a corporate level, and they are very cognizant of what's going on in the world. And just as you're saying, when you paint the situation into an area where you say, why are you supporting bad people? Here's what they're doing to your family members. Here's what they're doing to your country. They tend to respond to that more so than don't do this or else you'll die.
And that's exactly why we have a problem with the COVID vaccination. If you say you have to get this, I'm like, no, I don't. I'm an American. Right. I got freedom. But if you teach people, it may be good for you, it may be bad, let's have an educated conversation, then there's no longer resistance. It doesn't become politicized. It actually becomes a scientific discussion. Imagine that. Forcing people to do things or telling them they can't do things is not the way to get things done. Educating people, having a conversation about what's good for them, about what's good for society. Most people are moral people. They start to justify their immorality because of however they approach it. But if you literally, and nobody can dispute, you buy drugs, you are supporting murderers. You are supporting child traffickers, human traffickers, people who are feasting off of entire cultures at the expense of their government and prosperity. Shame on you. And once they realize that and come to an agreement that I don't want to support evil, they'll stop purchasing, and the cartels will go away.
Do you feel like Gen Z is the first generation to start getting that? Because we're seeing Gen Z drink less, smoke less. Their church attendance is up by 3 times. I think they're the most church, their generation attends church more than any other. Do you think Gen Z is starting to see that picture because they're trending in a positive direction in every other aspect of their life?
They're also libertarians. It's first generation we had that are truly libertarians. In other words, government, stay out of my private business, stay out of my pocket. Let me achieve what I can achieve. They're actually almost the opposite of the millennials. It'll be interesting to see this next generation fight each other as you got one extreme versus the other. One believes that the government is the answer. The other one believes the government is the problem. It's going to be an interesting debate going into the future, but I think if you look historically, this country's been based off a limited government, and I hope that will continue because I believe in you a whole lot more than I believe in government, and I think that's the debate we're having right now.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra. Tug and I were locked in on watching Robert F. Kennedy Jr. yesterday and seeing, the senators grill him in the way that they were. And I think the important part for me was he kept sharing data. And so, to me, I think that was the most important part when he was basically stating, I don't want to recommend something that we don't have data backing it up. What was your take on that as a doctor, seeing, basically what he's been doing when it comes to HHS?
Yeah, so first of all, realize Mark Twain said best, there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. I've seen data on both sides misused, and I think Mr. Kennedy is very well read. He's read some of the same books I've read. Some of those books are maybe a little bit on the fringe, but he's at least studying. He's at least trying to have an educated conversation rather than a political one, which I like. He wants to be scientifically based. And on a side note, by the way, a little self-serving, the Bobby and Hegseth challenge, the fitness challenge, I'm going to crush everybody on.
Let's go.
Love it.
Right now. But coming from me, Mark Wayne Mullen has the best time. I'm going to crush you, Mark. I'm going to crush you by a minute, I promise you.
We talked about him this morning on the show, too, Dr. McCormick. He's awesome. I love that guy.
Friend of mine.
Okay, great.
Great friend of mine. We in the same morning workout program for a while, and I'm going to crush him, and I'm going to rub his nose in it because he challenged me amongst his staff. So here we go. But when you get back to Kennedy, though, I say he's not a doctor. I get it. He's not a healthcare professional. I get it. But he has the ideology that we don't go off a political conversation. We have realistic conversations. And best of all, he wants to empower people to make decisions for themselves that are informed. Instead of the government saying, oh, you have to get a vaccination, saying, here's the benefits, here's the possible detriments. You make your decision with you and your doctor.
Yeah, just give me the data.
And I just heard an advertisement on the radio the other day or TV where they're saying, hey, look, this is punishing kids that, kids are going to get sick. Well, yeah, kids who don't get vaccinations can get sick, but they're acting like they're going to make other people sick. If you're vaccinated and you think it works, obviously it's not going to make you sick. So stop with that kind of talk. They did the same thing with COVID. Well, if you don't do it, you're going to kill me. Wait, I thought you were protected. Either your vaccination works or not. Stop talking like that. Let's not have double logic.
Yeah, just speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Buddy Carter, one of your colleagues, has been on the show a few times, and he said something that stood out to me and Carlos, and I want to see if you get the same reaction. He said, because you brought up doing the morning workout and doing that routine and doing the challenge. Do you see that Democrats, because Buddy said this, Congressman Carter said this, he said, you'd be surprised how many people during morning workouts when I'm in the gym, actually we agree on so many things, and then by the end of the day when they're on TV, they're probably saying something a little bit different than what they just told me during the morning workout. Do you run into that too? Do you see that people come together more often and then when they get in front of the cameras they say something completely different?
And I will say this, too. You actually learn, because sometimes your talking points are wrong. This is why I don't do talking points. First of all, they bore me. And having an authentic, scientifically based conversation about what's good for America is what's most important to me. But, but quite frankly, it's not a good winning line when you're in the Democrat Party to say, I agree with Republicans. You're not going to get a Republican out of office by agreeing with them. They're trying to win elections. That's their goal. So, of course, they're not going to agree with you on most things. But they will agree on some things publicly, and actually that's why we've passed so much legislation. I think we're ranked 12th out of 435 for legislation passed, because I got a million ideas. The question is, what can I actually pass? And a lot of times I need buy-in from Democrats, which means I have to pick things that maybe aren't my favorite, but things I can actually get done. Because it's one thing to message, it's another thing to actually get something passed. That's hard to do.
Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra. How weird is it in D.C. right now where even when you find yourself on an 80-20, a 90-10 issue, for instance, public safety, you have the Democrats arguing on behalf of criminals? I have to imagine that if I was a Democrat, not saying that I would ever consider doing it, but if I ever was, I would basically be taking good ideas coming from Republicans or Donald Trump and saying, let me build on these good ideas rather than arguing on the 10 or 20% side.
For the first time in a long time, you're actually having Democrats dissent because they realize how their party has been hijacked by not just socialists, by legitimately Marxist/communist people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, who believe the government is the answer to the very problems that government created, by the way. That is a losing argument, this extremism, where you can take somebody and mutilate them as a child and call that science, as if it has any scientific basis, as if pediatricians ever even said that was... In fact, pediatricians used to be openly against that until Biden made it almost painful, like you're going to have your license threatened if you said anything that was common sense. We lost all common sense, and you could be punished by the government for dissenting by media, by Facebook, by X, well, what used to be Twitter. That stuff was all exposed by Jim Jordan. When you say, we're not getting done, you're not getting any scalps. Yeah, we're having a hard time getting scalps, but we are exposing. That has changed media. It has changed our information flow. And thank God that the Democrats keep on picking all the wrong fights, because if they came across as moderates, they'd actually have a chance of winning. But until they decide that they're going to actually come back to the center, remember Obama and Clinton were actually very good on the border. Nobody thinks it's a good idea. Most smart human beings don't believe that an open border is good for American society. It's not, for multiple reasons. Not to mention there's tons of child trafficking and rape on the way up, tons of drugs that harm our community, tons of all kinds of reasons. But as long as they keep on picking these horrible fights, they're going to have a really hard time, no matter what we do, winning any elections.
I don't know that they're going to go back to the center, and we brought this up on the show earlier. Bill de Blasio, former mayor of New York City, said, we need to sound more like Mamdani to win elections. So that tells me, that signals to me that they're embracing that leftist movement. They're embracing, they don't run from socialism and communism anymore. They're basically saying that's what we need to be.
And meanwhile, you got Generation Z doing what?
Becoming more libertarian.
You become a libertarian, going away from government all the way around. Matter of fact, even against some very conservative Republicans who believe, now ironically, church is a very important part of symbol, but it doesn't mean that you force any religious beliefs on me.
No, of course.
But that also means you don't restrict my religious beliefs. And here's the cool thing about this Generation Z. They get it. They want to have opportunity, and unfortunately, because of the way we set ourselves up in our education system, we have some big disadvantages, but we fought back. I mean, it doesn't take a South Park episode to teach you that things are changing in the schools now, and that we actually have some advantage we didn't have before, because COVID exposed all those horrible things going on, and actually parents are getting involved. They're actually changing the curriculum. We're getting back to education. We have a long ways to go on this, by the way. We can reform education to help America into the future generations. It is a great equalizer. It will help poverty and minorities and black community in Georgia, which is 31% of the population, are starting to finally wake up and say, I've been lied. I've been lied to. The government's not the solution. They've been getting in my way. So they want me to rely on the government so that I'll vote for them without ever getting out of the ghetto. Shame on them. And now they get it, and now you're seeing a massive migration in politics, and I love it.
Congressman Dr. Richard McCormick is our guest. I will tell you, we got a chance to speak with our management and our ownership. And as it stands right now, Dr. Rich, we're not sure what UFC fight that Tug and I are going to, but we want to make sure that you're there because we're going to do Radio Row. We're going to have all the guests that are going to go ahead and come on. It's obviously it's a hotbed for people talking about what's going on in the country. Get a chance to talk with fighters and everything else. So at some point we got to coordinate there to where wherever you're at, we want to be there and make sure we get a chance to interview you while we're there.
Man, this is universal. MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world. It's exciting. It's kind of what we all used to love about heavyweight boxers. It's like you're the baddest man on the planet. Now you get to find out who the baddest woman and the man are. It has come so far and is so popular, and it's kind of one of the secrets for Trump, too, by the way. To be friends with Dana White, to actually be on the WWE, it makes you mainstream. And all of a sudden, all these people that used to hate him are like, you know what, this guy's kind of with me. He likes the same things I like. It humanizes you. It's kind of like when Obama was doing, fantasy football and stuff like that. You're one of us. I kind of like this dude. He gets it. And MMA is a phenomenal, cool sport.
No kidding, man. It is like nothing that most people have ever seen, and I piggyback on what you're saying, Dr. McCormick, because when all the fighters get done after they've won, the first thing they do is the Trump dance or go find him to celebrate with him. And that's cool, man. There's not many people that can walk in there and be singled out by all the fighters after they win. That's a pretty good torch to carry. So we are going to figure out a way to get credentialed for that 4th of July celebration at the White House. So I don't know what the process is, but we're going to figure it out. And I think that's going to be our journey for next year, to be up there with y'all and see all that come down at the White House.
I think it's going to be the biggest deal ever. I literally think they're building a ballroom up there with private funds. It is kind of crazy. I like the fact that it kind of makes the people feel like they're involved.
Yes, sir.
And I know some people think that President Trump is like the Happy Gilmore of politics. He's going to do some things most people don't do. He's going to get in a fight with Bob Barker. He's going to play his club. Somebody's going to yell jackass while you're taking a swing. And he's going to bring out the new people that haven't been involved in politics in a long time. They're going to have their beer hats on and drinking out of straws. I get it. But at least you're seeing people interested in politics in a fun way, and I love it.
Yes, sir. It's going to be great.
It's fun.
Dr. McCormick, thank you so much. Hope you have a great weekend, and look forward to talking to you again soon, sir.
Always a pleasure, brother. Semper Fi.
Yes, sir. Dr. Rich McCormick, U.S. Representative for Georgia's 7th District.
The whole idea I've got the helmet on with the beer mugs attached.
And the Happy Gilmore of politics. Dude, the one thing I would say about that, tell me somebody that doesn't love Happy Gilmore. Give me anybody. I don't know anybody.
Jackass.
Yeah, jackass. So good, dude. Even Happy Gilmore 2 was good, I thought. I really did, man. I enjoyed it. Never thought that I would, and I did. So good. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. A notorious man is going to run for president. Next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, September 5th. The NFL is back. The world champion Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys last night 24-20, despite a 1.5-hour rain and lightning delay on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers will kick off from Brazil. That game will kick off at 8 o'clock. For Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are back in action and back at home as they host the Seattle Mariners in a weekend series. It'll be Chris Sale making the start tonight for the Braves. He'll be opposed by Logan Gilbert. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, Seasons Garages.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I've learned a lot about this car buying process from you. Is that typical of most of the clients you've worked with?
Yeah, I'm finding out it's even more typical. I mean, people are learning more and more, and maybe it's because I overload them with information because I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make sure you know everything.
Do I have to have a particular make and model in mind when I call you, or is it just open to anything I want?
It's open. I can get any make, any year, any model.
I might be looking to trade in my vehicle. Can you accommodate that as the honest car guy?
For sure. I mean, we love it when people want to trade in cars because honestly, it's best for you to trade in the car. Why? Because you get a tax savings.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
There are nut jobs on the road. Who knows where they learn to drive? If one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant, 855-GA-INJURY. Van Sant Law, one of Georgia's top-rated personal injury lawyers and car accident firms. Time is of the essence. Don't waste any. The longer you wait to get the right lawyer, the longer it takes to get the compensation you deserve. Call Van Sant Law today. The number is 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Having a safety plan is essential. If somebody breaks into your home or if you find yourself in a confrontation, don't start with a firearm. Start smarter. Start less lethal. Start with Byrna. The Byrna launcher is the most effective self-defense tool available today without the legal, financial, or emotional consequence that come from using a gun. I carry one myself. I recommend every family concerned about safety should have a Byrna too. I just gave one to my son and my daughter who just moved out on their own. The new Byrna compact launcher, it's the world's smallest, less lethal pistol. It's concealable anywhere. It fires powerful kinetic and tear gas rounds, and it can stop an attacker cold for up to 40 minutes. It's easily carried in a purse or a backpack. No background checks. It's legal in all 50 states. Ships straight to your door. And Byrna has protection for every member of the family, from safety alarms to personal defense sprays, trusted by hundreds of law enforcement agencies. It's a Byrna, because your first line of defense should always be less lethal. Visit Byrna, BYRNA.com, and find the right launcher for your family. That's Byrna, BYRNA.com.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. I just talked to Jeray and talked to Los about the gold star moment that we just had on the Morning Extra. I don't know that we've ever had a moment quite like the one that we just had, when Dr. Rich McCormick, a U.S. representative from Georgia, said,
"Jackass."
when he's quoting Happy Gilmore, my man broke out a jackass.
You jackass.
He was like, they're probably going to have. They were talking about the fight, the MMA fight, and he brought in just the popularity of MMA and how it's growing and growing and growing. And Donald Trump is a big part of that, and he's certainly a welcomed addition to those big events. He's always beloved and is cheered on when he goes there, and the fighters love him. When he's talking, Dr. McCormick was talking about the MMA fight that Dana White said he's going to have at the White House for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America.
Oh, it's happening July 4th weekend next year.
And he said it's going to be, and he compared Donald Trump to the Happy Gilmore of politics, which is great. I loved it, dude. I thought that was the greatest moment we've ever had in this show. We've had some good moments, but Dr. McCormick hitting us with a jackass was the best.
It's a lot of fun.
It sure is, man.
I'm glad he makes time for us and gets a chance to talk with the constituency. And so, and again, it's it's a chance to go ahead and kind of get the temperature of what's going on in D.C. And so, the people that reach out to this show and want to be on this show, we typically will try and always make time because of the fact that they're just so plugged into what's going on.
Yeah, man, and it's so important to hear from them. But on that MMA front, there is a man that is running for president. This dude is absolutely notorious, Los.
I could not believe he's being serious about this. This started like a year ago when he said he was going to do this. Now my man is putting it out there. He's a champ. It's Conor McGregor. This is what he told the Irish people yesterday.
Good morning, citizens of Ireland. I'm here today outside the office of the Taoiseach and Taoiseach, where we are over 200 days into the formation of current government. In these times, this government has cost us our peace of mind, our security, our hope for the future, and the general well-being of Irish citizens nationwide has decreased dramatically, whereby we have seen the homelessness of Irish children risen to levels unprecedented, proving this government's refusal to abide by and respect our proclamation, and where all children of Ireland are to be cherished. Instead, our children abandoned. This incompetent failure of future generations has been accompanied with an intense influx of mass migration into an already severed system. Our tourism has sharply declined, while danger on our streets has risen. Ireland, as a master of martial combat, a solution-driven man, you will hear me speak on a problem but once. Then it is action towards solution. I urge all our citizens to be of the same. Today, Ireland, I am outside these gates of these appointed officials, but as your head of state, you empower me to enter these buildings on your behalf.
That dude is going to run the government in Ireland.
Dude, and the crazy thing is, and I've heard him sound outlandish before. I've heard him sound, in like fighter mode, doing promos like Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair back in the day, making those kind of statements before. He sounded dead serious. He sounded like a man that is on a mission to improve the lives of the people in the country that he was born and raised.
As of right now, because Conor McGregor ended up sharing some of this polling data, because he started a year ago talking about Ireland for the Irish, like mass migration, that's not happening anymore. Here's what we need to do. Nationalism, the same stuff that we're talking about here. Right now, the polling has him somewhere in the area of about 59%, whereas the next closest person as of now is about 25%.
You're seeing, dude, across Europe, and as bad a shape as Europe is in, and we documented it yesterday with the comedian being arrested for posting on social media something that the government didn't see eye to eye with when it came to trans rights. You're seeing Europe, at least the people, start to shift to the right. You're seeing people that are more conservative gaining momentum left and right, and the left knows about it, and they're nervous about it. And it goes on. I'm not trying to derail us here, but those politicians in Germany that were just killed, like 7 within 2 weeks.
Yeah, weird.
Dude, that is freaking nuts. That is absolutely nuts, and it shows you the lengths that they will go to make sure that they maintain their power, they maintain their position in government.
Yes, basically, if you come across as a conservative or a nationalist, you have some problems throughout Europe. In this case, I don't think anybody's going to mess with Conor McGregor.
No, yeah, he's a different animal altogether for sure. But dude, if they'll take a shot at Trump, you don't think they'll take a shot at him? Because
you never know.
I'm telling you, I know it's a different animal altogether, and he can defend himself like probably most can't. But man, let me tell you, at the end of the gun, what do we say earlier? You can vote in socialism, but you're gonna have to get yourself out of it with a gun. It is a long road to save Europe, if it's even savable. But we'll leave it right there. For Los and Jure and our boy Canada too, who's in here today. I'm Tug. Have a great weekend. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.